Saturday night, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for round 3 of the Apex Online Racing Touring Car Championship. We've already been to Brands Hatch and, of course, the Bugatti circuit just last week, and we're here at Mugello in Italy. Melish, Mugello, Italy's favourite circuit or a close second to Monza?
I think it's a close second to Monza, but more importantly, Alie, I think it's Ferrari's little private test track. It's like their own Tracy Island, you know what I mean? And this is there's no more beautiful place to go. It's a great track in how it weaves, but we're only going to the club circuit, Alie. We're going to the small petite version on it, and I think that's ideal for these touring cars.
Yeah, only a few corners here. It's a couple of chicanes, a couple of left-right chicanes at the top of the track, and then a long home straight. A lot of, I think, the difficulty in this track will be the sort of final corner. We'll see that in a moment or two, though. For now, we're running into qualifying. We'll start the stream just before qualifying is going to kick off. So any moment now, we'll be live with that session. We always talk about the importance of qualifying, Melish, but of course, it sets your, well, not just your grid, but also your lobby for this race.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously with the amount of people that sign up to this championship, there's a lot of qualifying lobbies going on. You know, we can only be on board with one. Luckily last week, because of the time we had, we managed to get on board with 2. That's not how it usually goes, but we were lucky enough to be able to have that there. But we're just going to be on board with this lobby, and what a lobby we're on board with. Usually we have the privateers that end up in C lobby, and we don't see them for the rest of the night, but we've got Williams, Mitch in here, we've got the DOR trio in there, we've got GRT, which is a new German team, Elb Florenz, GTR Spearman, MRT Stug, we've got Actim, who's a regular qualifier in our streams, and of course AMS Merchant, the Alie Motorsport team. So hopefully we're going to be seeing some top times being put out by these drivers today.
Absolutely, it's got all the promise for top times here. Mugello is it's a tricky track, a little technical little circuit, but one which you know, we've said this a few times before. With less corners and a shorter circuit, there's less time to make a mistake. I think we can expect the very, very top times to be somewhat bunched up. Only a very, probably 3-4 tenths separating all the drivers in the very top lobby. We're just loading in now to the qualifying session, though, and we're of course on board with this cracking lobby of drivers. We've got Mitch there just pulling away, who just behind the driver we're sitting on board with. Who is that? Who have we got here? This is
MRT Stug.
MRT Stug. It's a beaut. I think it's got a British flag sitting on top of it. One of them did. There's a muted British flag there on the roof. Quite like that.
Best flag in the world, I reckon.
Never read of it, mate.
I have to say though, Alie, Mugello Club Circuit is very deceiving from top to bottom. You know, it looks the same size as Brands Hatch. It's actually bigger. It's 0.4 of a mile bigger. It's got a few more corners. The curbs, invite you to like drive over them, but then they swallow you up and chew you and spit you out the other side. They're not to be trifled with. It's always a dice roll over the curbs here as well. And like you say, I think the last 2 corners are really going to prove the metal between the drivers, because that is that famous downwards hill towards the start finishes. You're just going to gain so much time and so much speed if you can nail it. If you can't, though, you're going to be losing out a few places. And I think that's going to be it's going to be the difference between the top drivers in Lobby A and maybe the drivers in Lobby C, is that last corner.
I completely agree. Let's get the qualifying scores up here as the drivers come through and complete their warm-up laps. So no one hitting a lap in anger just yet. We're sitting on board with the second of the GRT runners. It's a German racing team, one that I'm new to in this competition, but AMG and Elb Florenz have been doing a good job together holding down, representing their team, I should say. And a beautiful livery as well there with an Ayrton Senna on the side. Love that. Senna Sempre. And this is the 25th anniversary, of course, of Senna's death. And so it's nice to see a car out there running that.
It's very poetic, but there's also like a little hint for me as they run together, which is kind of nice. I know the ghosts in that, but it's nice to see teammates, using each other as benchmarks. That is one of the definitely one of the methods that you can use in qualifying, by setting yourself up with a teammate in ghosted, running inside of each other. Really, a lot of people find that distracting, and it doesn't work out for the majority of the drivers. But here, the German drivers seem to be using it to their advantage, and hopefully, we're going to see one of the GRT guys make it to Lobby A. Perhaps both of them, Alie.
You know, I could run a whole qualifying session before I notice that I'm doing that. I'll just be like the red mist descends, and I'll be like, I'm going to beat you. And
You don't care who it is. It's like a
before
dog with a ball.
I don't care who it is. don't care if it's G2 Lage, mate. I'm going to beat him. And I'll notice 5 laps later that I've wasted my whole qualifying session. Because as you say, it's a distraction. It puts you off. It makes you slower. Yeah, maybe it might have for GRT L4N to just hop on board with him to take a lift here, let his teammate pull away, and maybe get a decent lap in the record books here.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, one of the corners that really strikes me as difficult is actually the first corner, San Donato. You want to run as close as you can to the inside curve, but you don't want to touch it. It's very tempting, and it does invite you to think that you can get such a great run, because curves in this game often translate into grip and extra handling, but it's one of those corners that just doesn't do that. It messes with you more than it helps you, so you've got to get nice and close to it, maybe just clip the white line and extend all the way out, but don't be touching that. That first corner is definitely not to be trifled with.
So you're not running the curbs there at all. You're going to stay completely on the tarmac. No.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
On the inside curb. The inside curb.
Inside curb, yeah. Because you're running into the corner. Some people straddle the curb there. They'll put the cars at both sides of the ridged curve on the way in to get a little bit more turning. Not a line that I actually haven't really made work on, so I don't really feel the difference with it. Trail braking onto the apex feels like it's the way. I'm really sure. Go on.
When you're going into turn 2 as well, basically what you want to do is you want to set yourself up for turn 2, which is Luco. Again, when you talk about straddling the curb there, that's exactly what you've got to do in turn 2. You've got to use the red part on the inside of the curb to get the car rotated. If you don't do that, you're not setting yourself up properly for a really good lap time, because if you hit that redness, it actually rotates the car so you can stick right towards the inside on the left-hand side and then switch back across, like you can see here. Elvin Ferenz, he just made a mistake there and actually went shallow into turn 3. Scrubs a bit of time off, loses a bit of distance to Actin, and that's going to cut his time off a little bit there for his overall lap time, which is a shame, because it looked like a really good first corner for him.
Yeah, pick up the car there, and Elvin Ferenz losing out a little bit. You can see there for the eagle-eyed viewer, he's going to notice that our lap times sadly aren't ranked on the right-hand side there, so give you an indication of what the best times these drivers ran was, but sadly the rank for the left-hand side does not bear any similarity to who got the fastest lap time. YMTV Saucisson, our spectator cam, sadly won't be qualifying 9th in this lobby. A sad day for Saucisson.
It is a sad day for Saucisson, you know. Rip the sausage, that's all I say. But GTR Speedman though, 59.2 is a great time. That is a very good time. 59.4 there from DOR. GRT, AMG with a 59.5, so very close. And this is the kind of rhythm that we see in the pattern that formulates with these short tracks and the nature of them. Is the fact that the lap times that we're going to be seeing are very small. Remember Brands Hatch, it was only, think, 300 to 400ths of a second difference. That was it, 4/10. That's all you had in the top 16, and I think we're going to see a very, very similar pattern here today at Mugello. Maybe a little bit extended, maybe 5/10, because this is a little bit longer. But there's not that many places to go wrong. But when you do get the wrong, it definitely cuts your lap time in half.
Well, I will say, Melish, jumping back and looking at the race results there, race host Williams Mitch,
yes,
did not actually put a time in there. He got a 1:03 with DNF, as did AMS Merckx. Merckx has also been a Lobby A contender every single week. DNFs for both drivers. I'm not sure if that's
is that a rerun?
Perhaps just hosting the lobby. Was he just jumping in and hosting it and being like, all right, you guys set your lap times, I've already done mine, or I'm going to do mine somewhere else? Or is that a technical glitch for Mitch, and that may see him not making a lobby? That could be huge.
That could be massive. I mean, obviously, Williams Mitch is, you know, the title, he's a championship contender right now. He's the leader in this TCC championship, and to not make the Lobby A, Well, he won't make lobby A if he's just got a 1 minute point 3 on the DNF. That's not going to add to his cause. He's gonna suffer here. Luckily, though, he does have a lifeline. It has to be said. He hasn't missed a round just yet. He's been in fine form with a win in the 4th place at Brands Hatch Indy, and then he was second, and I think it was a 6th place in Bugatti circuit. So great job for Mitch at the moment. I hope this is not the way that it goes for Mugello. I know he's been practicing hard. The Civic's going to be a struggle off the line, but it seems to be the top car to choose here, or the old Audi S3, which is Merckx is running. So if he's got the car and he's got the equipment, you're going to want to use it, but hopefully that's just a technical difficulty, and he will be back, and we will see him in lobby A, because the Williams brothers will need him. He has been their striking force, their shining star in that Williams trio, and I hope he's going to be able to attend.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about Mitch right now, so I think without any further ado, we should jump into the drivers' standings for the TCC so far. You can see him just popping up on screen right now, and of course it's Williams Mitch leading the championship with Aerox Vane in second. It's been a close run between Vane and Mitch so far in the series, Mellish. Just one race win for Vane last time out at Bugatti, of course, and well, a few more for Mitch, who's done a fantastic job so far. 2 wins there. What do you think in the matchup between Vane and Mitch? Is that really a challenge? I mean, arguably Vane maybe that hasn't shown the pace yet to be able to do Mitch on track.
Well, but Vane has been, if you were to be a tabloid newspaper, Vane would be the guy you'd want to follow around with the camera, because he's been in the middle of a lot of attention at the moment. You know, an incident at Brands Hatch where it saw him and Seven get together on the start-finish straight at Brands Hatch Indy, and then of course there was an incident between him and Type R, I think in reverse race, where he shunted Type R off the track. Now, we don't know what the race marshal's decision was on that, but it just seems to be him involved. And if you're involved in these incidents, one of these days is you know, what goes around comes around. It's going to bite you on the butt, I'm afraid. So he's just going to keep his head down. I think you know, he does have that pace. He has that raw talent that you need for driving front-wheel drive cars. He just needs to keep his head down and try and avoid these incidents. Of course, sometimes you can't avoid them, but I think he could just try a little bit extra. Mugello might be a tall order, though, to try and avoid the incidents, because it's a very narrow track. There's not many places to go. It's kind of a one-liner, this track. Going side by side, you're going to get slowed down. You're going to get in some heated battles, and I think that Vane seems to get out of them, but one of these days he's not going to be able to do that, and I hope it's not today. I really don't.
Well, last time we were talking all about the Remus Racing pair of Tactical HD1 and Jota Commando. The Cruise itself, the Chevrolet Cruise, has come under some inspection as well. This car is it's a beast off the line, Mellish. I mean, how much will that help it here at Mugello?
Oh, enormously. You know, if you can get into that, like I said, this is kind of like a roller coaster, and in the form that it's got rails, and it's really a one-line track. So if these guys can get off the start like they have been doing, or they certainly did the Bugatti circuit, and dominate from the front, I think it's going to be very hard for the Civics to get past. The Civics do have a little bit of top end. We saw that with Williams Mitch challenging on Commando going into the Dunlop chicane at Bugatti, but it was the defensive skills of Commando that just couldn't let Mitch capitalize on that. I think that's going to be the decider between those two going at it. Unfortunately, Remus Racing have no lifeline left. Unfortunately, Alie, they did not compete at Brands Hatch Indy, so they have to go all out every round and hope that they don't get involved in any incidents and take the maximum amount of points home.
Absolutely. We're into a second lobby here, and I've got a funny feeling looking at this, Mellish, that we're going to be rerunning the qualifying session that we've already seen. DNX for Williams Mitch and AMS Merckx in there, so there's definitely some connectivity issues, and also just a whole bunch of drivers. I think only 8 drivers finished the round in the end, so a whole host of drivers still yet to set times. So I think it's affected enough people that they're going to see a rerun of qualifying.
Yeah.
Is that your read of this as well, or is this the race lobby?
I definitely think so. Ooh, no, this is definitely not the race lobby. We haven't. Just looking at the names, we don't obviously see DOR and Mitch, Williams guys in together. I think there's 70 people signed up tonight, and I think there's going to be a big gap between those guys. Having said that, though, we do appreciate everyone tuning in. Of course, we're only going to be on board with Lobby A, but there's only room for 16, I'm afraid. And with the championship this close and AOR taking this championship to new heights, I have to say, the competition has been taken to new heights as well. It's great to see this kind of trio of teams taking it to one another. We've got the Remus Racing team, the Aerox Motorsport team, and obviously the Williams Esports team, and they've just been going at each other. It's been sensational so far. I just don't think we have seen enough from Tacq. I kind of feel like he was a golden boy in the old days of the TCC. I'd like to see more from him. Cami on the leaderboards, though, has been really proving himself in that Civic, so I hope to see Cami up there as well. He's had his luck tested, Ali. He's got great performance. He just seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, you know, a little bit more promise from Cami. I think he gets score some big points here.
Yeah, you're too right. Just hopping into this session, you can see the leaderboard there, the scoreboard. Waiting to get any times in it. We're not even around the warm-up lap yet, but a little bit tardy into the session, so sorry about that. Back on board with MRT Stug here, and it's going to be another chance for a couple of drivers who it's probably worthwhile hopping on board with, the first of which, AMS Merckx. He's been repping AMS in, I think, has Merckx been in the AMS team, the Motorsport team, or has he been the solo AMS driver? I struggle to remember this. I think he may be solo out there, AMS Merckx, in that RS3.
Which is a shame, really, because AMS was such a predominant team, you know, not even a year ago, and I feel that, you know, they could have provided him with an extra pair of comrades in this championship. I know, obviously, everyone can't make the time commitments, and it is a weekly basis, but I mean, AMS Merckx repping AMS really well here. He's one of the only drivers to run the RS3, the original, or the Audi S3, not the RS3, the S3, the original TCC touring car. And he's been the only person, I think, to make it to Lobby A with it. I know he's been practicing. I see him in prize all the time with Williams Mitch, so he's learning from the best. Make no mistake about that. But you know, a bit of friendliness, a bit of team sportsmanship. You know, get some more AMS guys near. GG Racing, an up and comer. Chummy Chum. You got Tico. There's loads of people we've seen in the Maserati Super Trofeo Cup. Where are they? Where are these people to back up Merckx? You know what I mean? Give the man some love.
I hear you. Give him some love. Fill up those hearts in the back of his car. They've only got 1.5 left. See if we can get him 3 full hearts for the rest of the season. AMS Merckx then allowed to set a time here. This do-over in qualifying was a big deal for 1 or 2 of these drivers, but well, it's a big deal for all the drivers, but for 1 or 2 of them, I should say, it's a massive deal. It's completely changed the nature of their race. AMS Merckx is one of them. The other, who I'm looking for in the session, is Williams Mitch. He is out there, he is on track, and we're hopping on board with him right now as Mitch comes down the back section here, starting his second flying lap. A 58.3, I think, is the lap time that he's on currently. So, yeah, no stranger to pace, no stranger to speed, Williams Mitch, and out there proving it once again that he's a top dog in a touring car.
No, absolutely. I completely forgot the guys were discussing what sort of lap times we should expect to see out here, especially in qualifying and perhaps in the race as well. We should be looking, and what we're looking for is a golden 57.9, a 57.8. I think that's what the top times are. So the fact that, you know, we're already halfway through this qualifying session, he's put a banker lap in. I think he's going to set his sights on that high 57 target, which would absolutely put him in probably the top 5 in Lobby A for sure, maybe even first place.
Well, 2 for 2 so far for Williams Mitch. He's had pole position at Brands Hatch, pole position at Bugatti just last time out. He'll be looking to continue that spree of pole positions. And potentially 58.3 is the way to go. You're saying a 57, a high 57 is possible here. But it depends if it's possible for anybody whose name is Williams Mitch. And how much does he need to do to get that top place on the grid? Merckx has run some pretty good times there as well, though. That's a 58.6, I think, that Merckx has ran. So 3/10 off of Mitch, which is, I mean, it shows they've been practicing together. That's a really respectable time.
Yeah, they're definitely a cut above the rest. Obviously, as you can see there, Spearman in 3rd place. He's not even made the 58s. The only 2 guys in here making the 58s. I think we're going to see a Lobby A full of 58s, which is going to bring excellent action. But we do like to see more from Spearman. Spearman's a regular contender in all sorts of community leagues, all sorts of shapes and sizes. And I think that it would be lovely. He's always been in the back end, you know, when we see him in DOR, he's always the guy that gets promoted in the Retro GT Cup. Love to see him become a regular of the Lobby A, but he's got his work cut out for him. He's got his work cut out for him, and I feel that just getting into a 58 would be an achievement for the guy. So I don't think he's got long left though, Ali. So maybe not this time.
Let's get on board with him. I mean, what I will say is later on today, we're going to have a look at the team standings so far in the AOR TCC. And the teaming of Unseen Saint and GTR Spearman, very much sort of GTR's second team out there, if you like, because Cammy's out there racing as well in a different team. They're beating them right now. This is the top team Spearman's running for GTR in this championship. So doing a fantastic job for his team out there, putting in some consistent results, and well, that's what you need. It's not letting him shine, as you say, maybe in Lobby A, but it is allowing his team to shine on the team leaderboard. So definitely some awesome driving there from Spearman, some consistent results that he's getting in as well. I think this session has come to an end, though. You can see on the qualifying session on the right there, 6 laps is the current lap everyone's on, and that will be the AI driving taking over, I should think, and bringing all those cars back round to the pits. So we'll hop back to the B-roll and nervously await the qualifying results. Alish, I mean, that looked okay for Mitch. That looked okay for Merckx as well. Do you think they'll be happy with those results, especially after lagging out in the first session?
Absolutely. I think that, you know, sometimes obviously having a second chance something is a lifeline, and sometimes it makes you feel a huge sense of relief, but then the pressure's on you because the first time didn't go so well, and sometimes patterns start to formulate and you really hope the second one does go well. I have to say though, a little trick that most of us didn't notice there, and I haven't mentioned it just yet, it was the fact that the first set of qualifying that we were onboarded was dark and it was cloudy and it was overcast, which does actually affect the track. Here, it's bright and sunshine, and they've got extra grip in those tires because the heat's there. They were shined upon by the Forza gods in that second attempt at qualifying, because now the sun's out, it means they get extra grip, which is perfect and is ideal for what you need a front-wheel drive. So I'm smiling here because I know that maybe Mitch wouldn't be too happy with his. You know, I think he's going to be happy, but I don't. You know, when you get to the point where you're talking tenths and hundredths of a second, you're never quite happy. You always want to do better than what you have done, and they tend to make excuses as to why they didn't hit what they wanted to hit. Great job from Merckx to actually close down that. He closed down that gap, dude. He closed down that gap. I think he got a 0.39 in the end, so went from 0.6 to a high 0.3. And Spearman just missed the cutout. He was actually on a 59 flat at 0.10. So really close from Spearman. I just still don't think it's going to be enough. Looks like Merckx and Mitch have secured their place into Lobby A. We won't know until the other qualifying lobbies are finished. But I've got to say that last run from Merckx, that was a do-or-die attempt. I hope it's worked out for him.
It looked good, and a low 58 was possible in the end for Mitch, and a mid 58 for Merckx should be enough. I like the qualifying sessions as well, because you get to see a few of the drivers who probably we won't see in Lobby A. Looking at the 2 GRT drivers there, I do quite wish we'd see them up in the top lobby. They're definitely got the great team paints for it, and they're looking slick out there on track. Just need to cut down the time a little bit. You're a driver, Merch, who knows how to get around these tracks pretty quickly in a touring car and any other car as well. What is it that those guys, let's say a team like GRT, what is it that makes the difference there? If they got given a tune by Williams Mitch, would that be enough to get them in Lobby A? Or do they need to put some practice in on track? Do they need to, what do you think they need to work on?
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's not just here's a tune, go at it. I mean, that never really works for anybody. You've got to practice. You put the time in. Every time I come on, the way that the weekly cycle works for these top drivers in the TCC is for the next couple of days, they'll chill out. They'll play Blackout, Call of Duty, whatever takes their fancy. And then you see them start to slowly bring it back, start working on the tunes, see what works, see what best lines there are around the track. And then once they've refined it, it's like a refinement process. It's tune, practice, tune, refinement, hot lap. And then for the last 2 days, they're just smashing lap times. And the best thing to do about it as well, one of the key structures I find in practicing to hit those lap times is do it in 5-lap sessions. It's the best thing you can do to actually simulate the qualifying. Don't do it in 10 laps, because that means, you know, if you're hitting it on lap 8, you're not hitting it in the 5 laps you need to hit it in. You need to hit it in 5 laps. Otherwise, it's null and void, and you're not going to get work. You're not going to get the lap time you deserve. So I think it's actually simulating that qualifying process that helps these drivers hit what they need to on a consistent, regular basis, but also really quickly as well. It's there instantly, you know. And a lot of them don't go for banking laps. They just go for the laps, and it's just retry. And that's one of the key things that I like to do as well. Is if I'm practicing for a race, I like to run the race length in my practice, because I know when I'm pitting, I know what my tires are going to be like on a certain lap. Thereabouts. It is rough with tires, but it's still pretty in the same area. I mean, I like to do that. But and everyone has their own different ways of practicing, but you know, just simulating either the race or a qualifying process is definitely going to help you improve your lap times.
I hear you. That's all good advice and stuff that you can see you jumping up the lobbies. We're looking right now at the drivers' standings once again. We had a little look at this earlier on, but we've since been in and out of a reset qualifying session, and so now we've got a new one right here for you. We've talked about Mitch at the top there. We've talked a little bit about Tactical. Commando, I think, is in 17th position, so just out of sight on this leaderboard. It's Tactical's teammate in Remus Racing. There are though some new people in this top 16. And I'm thinking here of SVR Chasmo and Barry as well, and then people like Barcode, TUS Barcode. We haven't necessarily seen racing for years and years, but are doing a pretty solid job out there, holding it down. You know, not quite in the top 10, but repping themselves pretty nicely in this championship.
No, absolutely. I mean, Barcode was a complete surprise. When it comes to TUS drivers, we tend to, you know, it tends to be, we kind of pick people that we think are good, you know, and just with the right direction and the right intuition, the right tuition, they could make it into something great. Well, Barcode came along, and I really haven't spoken to Barcode so much, I have to confess, but he just seemed to got there on his own, you know. It was like the TUS name gave him 50 extra horsepower applied across all cars. And like he's just found it. No, obviously that's a joke. He obviously put the effort in. But it's great to see him here in Lobby A. Obviously Chasmo as well, former TUS, still with SVR. Don't know what's going on there. PMC Alie. We actually haven't seen PMC Alie in Lobby A, yet he's there in Lobby A standings. He's there in 15th place. That just shows how well he's doing in Lobby B, and maybe he's winning Lobby B all the time. We don't know that, because we're never on board with those guys. Barry, just missing out on his first ever Touring Car Championship win in the reverse grid of Brands Hatch. He'll be looking to prove to us and himself that he has got the pace. I talk to Barry all the time. I could just imagine him being a nervous wreck. He missed out with 3 corners to go. I feel that he can do it. He's got the pace. In that reverse grid is ideal opportunity for him to make leaps and bounds. I think he can do it, given that opportunity again. I think he can learn from that. So I'm going to be looking out for Barry. But where's Matt Gaiman and his Iron Brew man? Was it Sean? Is it Sean and Matt Gaiman running Iron Brew?
It's NOS, mate. It's a NOS one.
It's Iron Brew. You know it's the same colours.
So it's Sean and Matt Gaiman. They're doing a great job together. And actually, let's get the team standings up right now, because those two are teamed up, and you can see Sean up there in 7th place, Matt in 12th, and both of their efforts put together have put NOS Energy, their team, in 4th place in these standings. So an outstanding job from those two. Matt's always been, Matt's been out there practicing. We've seen him around for years, Mellish. But Sean, not someone that I'm so much aware of. A real turn up for the books for him. I mean, I'd expect this kind of performance from Matt these days. But Sean, absolutely smashing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't like to make assumptions or speculate. I don't like to speculate, Ali. You know me, I'm not a speculative person. But all I would like to think is that Sean is becoming like the new Mitch. I don't want to put words in his mouth. It's not this he's only 14 kind of stigma on Twitter that's been going around recently. It's the fact that he's in Lobby A. He is relatively young. He's in Lobby A. He's a very quiet person, because we try to recruit him for TUS. He's actually in lobby A all the time. He's in lobby A all the time, and he really held his own in that reverse grid up for Bugatti very, very well. He just missed out. Had to say it was the sand trap, I think, that got him and his teammate Matt. It was very unfortunate for them both, but Sean is one to look out for. If you cast your mind back, Alie, to the previous TCC seasons, remember Mitch in the Mercedes A-Class? Do you remember
Yeah,
those
yeah,
times?
Mitch 555.
He wasn't winning races. He wasn't winning races, but he was hitting top 5 every time. You know,
Yeah,
if Sean can replicate that, we could see a pattern forming here. Not just saying. Just saying.
You're not wrong. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, look right at the top of that table there. Williams Esports. The people leading this championship, and they're out there on track, are the people who you'll see standing on the podiums of the Forza Racing Championship year on year. They're not messing around. They're not slow drivers by any means. The top of this is the very pinnacle of Forza Motorsport. Aerox, of course, as well, a very celebrated team. I'm looking forward to seeing Aerox, especially race at a Forza Racing Championship. Hopefully this year, Mellish, or whenever one comes along. It's
yeah, whenever it happens.
It's been awesome to see Aerox this last year or so. Bokit, Vane, and Ridge making themselves into a team which looks very tight knit. It looks very slick, honestly. Even compared to Williams, when you see the Aerox guys racing next to each other on track, I get a much more convincing feeling that those three drivers are looking out for each other, they're creating gaps for each other, and they're really team riding in a way that maybe no one else is right now.
No, I definitely feel a more team spirit on the track. I think with the Aerox boys are always in close proximity, very tight knit on the track. They're all running the same car. I have to say, Alie, though, not just as a team, but on an individual basis as well. I'm not going to name names, but there are people in the community that have said they don't like the way that Bokit has improved. They don't like it. That's literally, honestly, and I'm not lying, that's what they've said, word on word.
Right.
They don't like the way that Bokit's improved. It's that fear factor that is actually, you know, from that transition from Forza 6 being one of the top guys to being almost like on the cusp of making the RC last year to now dominating, well, not dominating, I should say, but constantly in that danger zone with the top drivers. People are actually having to look over their shoulder at him now. He poses to them as a threat. He's a threat to them, and they don't like it. They don't like it when a new person is on the block. It's like territory. It's territorial. This is my shade. This is my patch. You ain't gonna come and take my patch. And Bokit's like, hey, I'll take it from you if you're not gonna defend it properly. I think we've got a lot to see from Bokit. We've seen Vane quite a lot, but Bokit is the kind of, I know, the grey man for the Aerox Motorsport. He doesn't say much. He doesn't need to say much because his action speaks volumes, and I'm looking forward to see what Bokit can pull off here. Because they don't like, honestly, if you fear somebody, it's gonna get inside your head. It gets inside your head. It gets inside my head.
You. I agree. Well, you know what I think? I think, you know, again, we always compare everyone to Mitch. But over 2018, you know, Mitch was the new guy, right? And he didn't know his place in the pecking order. And he didn't know, you know, who he should be stooping and bowing to. And he went out there in JSR and he beat Rossi. And he went out there in Williams, and dare I say it, he really beat Roadrunner, 2 events running. So, for me...
Yeah.
You know, when you get someone new along, like Bokit, who doesn't really know their place in the pecking order, the result can be that they just shoot straight past you. You know, you got to get your talons in quick, you got to slow them down, you got to get them stooping and bowing fast. And you know, you look at someone like Box, who maybe got a little bit used to stooping and bowing to Lage, and that held him back, I think, for a few years from achieving. So it can slow a driver down. You know, Box past that now and able to compete for himself. But for a long time there, you know, felt like he was in the wrong place in that pecking order.
Yeah, I don't know. I know this is a really weird analogy, but I'm going to try and explain. Can you think of like an inverse version of Jenga? So instead of pulling the blocks out, you put the blocks in. Right.
Okay.
As soon as you put that block in, I kind of feel like that each block represents a driver. Okay.
Right.
And if you're not in that pecking order, then you're not in that stack. You're not in that big tower, are you? you know, and Mitch kind of was always outside that pecking order. You know, he didn't fit in anywhere, and then suddenly he just slotted himself in the top three like rows of that Jenga tower, right? I kind of feel that Bokit's doing the same, but he's managed to pull himself out of that tower, and he's trying to slot himself somewhere up above. You know what I mean? There's always that pecking order. You know what I mean? It's very
yeah.
Sure. You know what I mean? I know it's a really weird analogy because you never put blocks into a Jenga tower, but it's the kind of way that I feel about it. It's so stupid. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to explain it.
I agree. That's a good explanation. You know, because it's one out, one in. You know. One out, one in. The club's full. You know, sorry, you got to wait by the door, and the pretty girls can go in, but it's one out, one in for you.
Yeah, no, I think that Bokit is going to be one to watch out for. Box has come such a long way, and going into any like esport event, Box and Age of Venom. Ooh, I kind of feel. I don't know. I don't know about that team spirit. Obviously, I don't know how well they work together. Obviously, I think they're going to be doing some team events, going to places together as a Red Bull trio. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like that's like cars and esports 0.2. You know what I mean? 2.0, but better.
You reckon?
Just so much more refined. I don't think it's going to be toxic. I don't think it's going to implode on itself. None of the negativity. But you just cherry pick, like you just got like all stars. You know what I mean? It's like an all-star Forza team. That's what I feel like.
It's a decent team. It's a decent team. You know, I look around and I think that's a strong team. I also, I've seen each one of those drivers wilt at different competitions. When they're on their game, when they're up there, they're there for sure. But I've seen Lage look irrelevant. At some competitions, looking back and thinking of the New York Invitational. The Seattle Invitational in 2018. Lage was nowhere, and you look at Venom, and 50% of the time he's making Lightning look silly, and 50% of the time Lightning's making him look silly. And Box as well, we just talked about, hasn't always shone. So I agree they're a fast team, but they're not invincible. We've all seen that.
Yeah, of course.
The Williams set of Mitch, Roadrunner, and Seven. That could be a more gelled team by now. To be fair, these three have been racing together for almost a year now. Roadrunner, Mitch, and Seven, and they're starting to look pretty slick on track. They're not quite where Aerox are, I don't think, in terms of team driving, but they're looking pretty good on track together.
Yes, and no.
All right,
I think we haven't. No, I know. I agree with what you're saying, but I think it's because we haven't. Roadrunner finds it difficult in front-wheel drive. He will accept this. He acknowledges this. He lets people know this. But we saw like something just bring him to life in the later stages of the Bugatti circuit round 2 last week, and I think we're actually going to see more team riding. For them to be team riding, Ali, they need to be together, and they haven't been together. Seven's always been in a twist with Vane. Mitch has always been challenging up for second or first place. And Rodon has been the guy so far. He's only competed in the Bugatti in the round 2, of course. But when we saw him, he was the guy that qualified towards the back end of the pack and was trying to make his way through every time. He kind of gave himself the hard way. He didn't qualify with a great time. Obviously, he qualified with a great time made Lobbier, but it wasn't a time enough that he could really reap the rewards and gain maximum points. We saw him come to life in the reverse grid, of course, because he started further at the pack. But we haven't seen them together. We haven't seen them together like the Aerox. And that's why I say yes, because the Aerox boys are like almost within thousandths of a second together. The Williams boys, not so much. And I think that's why.
Yeah, I agree. Mitch is keeping all the good tunes for himself, is what you're saying. I hear you. He needs to start sharing his tunes out with his teammates.
Give me them tunes.
Give me them tunes, mate. Give me them tunes. Well, We are starting to fill up this lobby, slowly but surely. We haven't got qualifying results in yet, but you're starting to see a couple of people sneaking in here who I suspect are confident in their lap, they're confident that they're in Lobby A, and they happen to know that Williams Mitch is hosting that lobby. And I'm going to tell you two names. The first one you're not going to be surprised by, it's Jota Commando. The second one is somebody we haven't seen yet on track, and that's LSEM Turbo. LSEM Turbo. In the Lobby A already, sitting there with a little readied up tick next to his name, a little optimistic readied up tick, say let's go before they realise that that I'm not in this lobby.
He's just buttoned up his blazer ready for his first day at school.
That's right, he's got a little bow tie on. LSE on the buttons, passed him on the butt and pushed him out the door. Off you go.
Mom's giving him a pat lunch. He's ready to go.
Pat lunch, that's right, that's right. Little Thomas the Tank Engine lunchbox.
Oh, how sweet. He's going to get so bullied.
adorable.
That's what I feel like. He's going to get bullied, though, isn't he? He's going to get bullied.
It's difficult for a new driver in this top lobby, and they're rough drivers. They'll you know, if they sense weakness as well, they'll nudge you, they'll push you around on track. So it's going to be a tough one for Turbo, I think. Some more names filtering in though, and one of them, Mellish, is a name we haven't seen out there yet, but something we've been looking forward to seeing on track, and that's RBR Venom.
Yeah, so he hasn't competed in the first 2 rounds. It's nice to see him here. The only RBR representative here in this championship. It's his first outing, and I'm interested to see what he could do. I'm really interested to see how he stacks up. Of course, this is a community event, and I think, you know, I don't know, there's a certain slight, maybe less expectation from the drivers. They feel like they don't try as hard. But I believe when you're in that moment, regardless of what league that you're in, if it's for money, if it's for just pure enjoyment, when you're in that moment, it's racing regardless, and you do try your best. And I think that we haven't seen anything from Venom. We don't know what to expect. Is he going to be the wild card? These are the kind of questions we've got to pose ourselves, Alie. Is he going to dominate? Is he going to dominate? Is he going to run away with it? I hardly think so. Is he going to challenge Williams Mitch and Jota Commando? I absolutely think so. We don't know where they qualified though, so I could be completely wrong. But if he's starting in the top 5, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
There you go. I think we do have qualifying results here as well. We've had it previously that we've shown these and everyone's gone, what? Those aren't ready, those aren't cooked yet, put them back in the oven. Hopefully that won't happen this time. I'm going to get them on screen. I can't help myself. I always want to show them off. Williams Mitch takes his 3rd pole position with a 58.207. Must have set down his last lap. It looked like a 58.3 to me, but he must have found that extra 10th just before the session ended. Aerox Vane in 2nd, just 0.02 of a second between him and the leader. And then RBR Venom in 3rd on the grid, 0.06 of a second between him and Mitch. So only 0.04 between him and 2nd. Now the first 3 drivers contained within a 10th of a second, and Jota Commando outside of that bubble by 2,000th in 4th position. And it's going to be Sean in 5th with Williams Roadrunner in 6th. 7th is AMS Mercs, Cammy 8th, Williams 7th, 9th, and Tactical in 10th position. Mellish, that's an interesting grid there. I mean, Venom in his first appearance getting that 3rd place, not too bad at all.
That is not too bad at all. Look at that. Look how close it is. I mean, I was right when I said it was going to be 4 or 5 tenths. It was going to be a bit of a bigger time distance that we saw Brands Hatch because of the nature of the track. So we're seeing there Matt Gaiman just creeping in that 16th place. Barry there in 15th. Turbo making his first appearance in Lobby A, making it into 14th. Chasmo doing well. That's where he's been kind of in the first 2 rounds anyway. Barcode, great job. Alie, first time. We are seeing 3 people for the first time in this lobby, and he's in 11th. So he's already gaining spots. That is a great job from the Polish driver. Tactical in 10th. Now, that's not somewhere where we usually see him. He's always in the top 10, but he's always towards the front of the top 10. Right. Williams 7 in 9th. Cammy, like I said, he'd be putting in the times and the effort this week to make sure he gets a good position here in round 3. So he's in 8th. Mercs in 7th. I think that's the best result for Mercs so far. Roadrunner, his best start in the qualifying in a round. So yeah, he's starting in 6th. Sean, I'm telling you, you should look at him like the new Mitch. He's in 5th. Where did he come from? He's in 5th.
That's nuts. It is nuts. And I mean, you're starting to You're starting to convince me, Melish. You're starting to make me dare
I'm
to
sorry.
dream about this
He's
young man, Sean.
He's
Where has he come
0.12 off
from?
Mitch. He's 0.12 off
Unbelievable.
Mitch. Like,
Unbelievable.
mate, I am Bruce
Super
coming for the win
quick.
here.
Yeah, so NOS Energy, you'll see his car. It's a bright orange and blue affair. Same kind of livery as Matt 661. Matt 661 scraping his way into Lobby A. 5/10 half a second off the leader. It's a pretty close qualifying, to be fair. Half a second separating the top 16 drivers. Matt Gaming the final one, and the teammate, of course, of Sean. Sean, though, what a result. Fantastic. I will say, look out for the two Remus Racing drivers on the start of the race. That's Commando in 4th and Tactical in 10th. That car will jump positions. What is it, 2-3 positions on average? That car will scramble up. We could see Commando leading this thing into turn 1.
Absolutely, and I think the difference between now and Bugatti was the fact that Bugatti, I know it's part of the Le Mans circuit, but it gets very narrow towards a Dunlop chicane. They've got a huge run here, and it's very wide at Mugello. It does obviously narrow off, and it's like I said before, it's pretty much a one-train track, you know, through the rest of the course, but it's so wide through the start and finish going into the first corner because it incorporates that big pit lane exit as well. He's going to have plenty of room to kind of spread his wings. I think he can actually make I think he will be able to. If they don't block him off, I'd be very surprised if they don't block him off, but if they don't block him off, I think he's going to be leading into turn 1.
You know, I don't know what's legal in terms of blocking on this track. I know that the track limits on Forza don't include all that beautiful runoff that goes off to the right after the pit lane, but there's a huge amount of tarmac there. You can really, as long as you bring it back for the apex, you can go out very, very wide toward the inside of that corner, inside of turn 1. Indeed, too wide, I think, to be blocked. I think Williams-Mitch will never go that far, you know, across the pit lane exit, all the way to that right-hand wall. If Commando's carrying that pace, he may find his way through. Tactical as well. Someone will have to watch out for. None of the cars have been particularly sluggish, I wouldn't say, off the start, but the Hondas, from time to time, for me, have looked a little bit slower. Williams-Mitch will be racing a Honda, and Williams Roadrunner as well. That's 1st and 6th. So those two drivers, and of course 7 as well in 9th place there. So 1st, 6th, and 9th will. Maybe it will be in a little bit of danger at the start of this race.
Well, something to actually take note of, Alie, is that we've only got one Aerox driver here tonight. So this may be the joke around for Aerox. This may be that drop round for them. We've got no Bokif, and we've got no
Ridge.
Ridge. Who's been very, both very ferocious in this series so far. Vane, sole survivor of the Aerox for this round only. So he's just going to bag as many points as he can, but I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to be their drop round. Mugello, it appeals to some drivers and some it doesn't. It's very a love-hate track, especially the small circuit. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. But I have to say, you were right earlier on when you said the Honda Civic is sluggish off the start. Like you said, the talk is right at the very end, of the rev range. It's got to get there, and unfortunately, the Chevy is already there. So the Chevy gets an absolute massive amount of launch, but then it struggles to keep it there. The Honda Civic and the old S3, the old Audi S3, which I think the only one we're going to see is Merckx. They've got the top end, and on a track like this, the start-finish straight is going to be the easiest place to make overtakes. So if you've got that top end, you get in the draft, you get the right run out of the last corner, you're going to be making places. The Chevy's going to have to go on the defensive. Of course, the Honda Civic actually handles a lot better, and so does the Audi. So the Audi S3 and the Honda Civic are going to have it in the corners. It'll be able to hold up in the corners. They're just going to manage to kind of work their way around on the straight, and I think they'll take the cruise.
Well, the Chevy Cruise, a little bit of a difficult car to get around this track, and Melish caught up with Commando earlier on to see the fastest way around here. So let's see how they got along.
Wins in a 5th place in the previous round at Bugatti. Joe to Commando showed us how it's done and took us for a hot lap round Mugello Club, one of the smallest circuits on this calendar.
Thank you guys. So here we are back once again, but this time for a lap around the Mugello Club circuit. And as we come into turn 1, we want to be looking for the second white line there on the left hand side, braking approximately 10 metres before it, down into second, getting as close to the curb on the inside there without touching it. Up at the third one, they get 2 wheels hooked up on that inside curb there. That is very important to get the car rotating set up now for turn 3. Exiting your third gear, using all the track on exit. Up at the fourth. Now we wouldn't be braking at the dark patch of grass there, down into third gear, catching the inside of the curb there again. Now that is also very important to get set up now for a nice run now exiting that chicane. Coming down to the second to last corner, braking on that hut there on the left hand side, carrying as much speed as we can. Don't want to be running too wide though, as that curb there is very bumpy and will unsettle your car. And as we exit the last turn in third gear, up at the fourth, and there's your lap of the Mugello Club Circuit.
Well, it's a tricky lap around Mugello, and Armando doing a great job there of showing us how to do it. The drivers, though, are on track and getting ready for the race start. This isn't the run down to turn 1. This isn't the terrifying launch of these TCC cars quite yet. It's just the warm-up lap. Everyone getting a little bit of temperature into their tyres, and we're sitting here on board with Sean 1528. Man of the moment, Mellish. Man of the moment.
Got to give him credit where credit is due and give him the highlight. What a great achievement by this young man. He's starting in 5th on the grid, just behind Jota Commando. So we're going to get a full force of the Chevy Crew exhaust and watch it blist away past those 3 drivers in front. Maybe not. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to be on board with it as it happens. I think that's most important. Williams Roadrunner just behind Sean. Sean's going to have to cover off that Honda Civic, but remember, the Honda Civic has the worst start off the line, so I think Sean is going to be covered here until he gets the first corner.
Yeah, you're too right. Seeing the leading pack here, let's exit the final little complex. It's a double right onto the back of the start finish straight, cutting out most of Mugello, goes off into the countryside and the beautiful hills around northern Italy, but not today. Just the shorter circuit. Williams Mitch on pole position, Aerox Vane second on the grid. Third is going to be RBR Venom in his first appearance here at the AOR TCC. Fourth, Jota Commando just finding his pit stop. We've seen Sean 1528 in 5th with Roadrunner 6th. 7th Merckx, 8th Cami, 9th is Williams 7, and then Tactical in 10th position. It's a stacked grid, Malish, as we rate for the start of race 1.
Absolutely. We've got 3 races of 15 laps ahead of us. We've got two normal races and that all-important reverse grid, which brings the best action. But for the moment, we're going to be starting race number 1 in just a few seconds.
The revs are high, the tension mounting, and these drivers will be waiting to drop those clutches. These touring cars are always fantastic to watch in this run down to the first corner. A lot of wheel spin up ahead there, and I think Vane's struggling to get off the line. Venom held up as well in his Civic, another Civic bogging down off the start. Look at Commando muscling his way through there and trying to get round the outside into turn 1. Commando trying for the lead here in the very start of lap 1. He's round the outside of Mitch, hanging it in there, and Mitch will be doing everything he can to get that guy back into his wing mirror. Commando, beautiful start, Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch knew what he had to do there, and he was just thankful that Aerox Vane was there to help him. Unintentionally, of course, pinned Commander to the outside of the first corner. As I say, RBR Venom's looking very serious now. He's trying to challenge Sean early on here. Williams Roadrunner in 6th, just giving him space, room to breathe. Venom looks charging hard in the Honda Civic. He's going to go down the inside into the second to last corner, and Sean is going to give him the room. Sean is going to have to learn quick and learn fast if he wants to stay in this top 10.
That's right, Sean giving it away a little bit too easily there, perhaps, for Venom. Makes his way through up into 4th position. It'll be Aerox Vane who's next on Venom's list. Vane qualified ahead of Venom, keep that in mind, but Commando there was able to jump a whole lot of people off the start of this race, and he's been sitting pretty in 2nd position ever since. Vane and Venom waiting to get their revenge.
Yeah, absolutely. More importantly, though, not just Commando, but his teammate Tactical made his way from 10th to 7th, and he's challenged on the back of Roadrunner now, getting swarmed by GTR Cami, who looked fast in qualifying. Williams 7 there as well in 9th, just rounding out the top 10. I think that's Merckx. So Merckx dropped a few places there. He's dropped down to 10th, but Tactical and Commando made the most positions so far.
Yeah, those two flying up the field, as we thought they would. That Chevy Crew so quick off the starting line. Tactical up from 10th to 7th position. Commando up from 4th to 2nd. 5th to 2nd, I should say. I'm getting confused now. I think actually 4th to 2nd. Whatever. doesn't matter because Venom is running down the start-finish line here and chasing down Aerox Vane, looking like he's spoiling for a move into turn 1. It's the 3rd lap in anger, 4th lap on the ticker, because that one counts the warm-up lap. Venom looking like he's going to be up into a podium position any corner now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but Vane is actually cutting himself off on corner exit there. You can see RBR Venom straddling the curb, 2 tyres on the red, so he can maximise that apex and especially that corner exit. Has got no room to let off all that gas in the Honda Civic. Vane covering off, but Vane's got to be careful, like you say, Ali. He's not using all the track. He's got to be careful, or he's going to be losing that spot any moment now.
All right, the cars roll round that double right-hander, finish off lap number 3, heading on towards the middle section of this race. Williams Mitch has gotten away with it. We haven't talked about him much yet in this race, but leading from the front as he likes to do, took pole position, managed to defend that lead and the run down towards turn 1 from Jota Commando, who looked very hungry indeed. And ever since then, he's been able to just apply that pace of the Civic onto the surface of the track, get himself a little bit of a lead.
Commander's gone wide. I think Vane's going to go for a bump and a run. Yeah, he's just going to give him a quick bump and run here. The 2 Americans behind Commando. I think if Commando is forced into a mistake, I think Venom will capitalise on this as well. Like you say, Mitch way at the head. He's going to extend this lead as this battle continues. It's all bump and grind here between 2nd and 4th place. Commando leading his Vane in 3rd. And the Honda Civic of Venom, I think he's going to get the best run here, Ali. I think he should just let off here, let these 2 guys battle out, slow each other down, and then get a massive run into the first corner. Oh, it's a big mistake. It's a big mistake for the Honda Civic. Sean's coming back. Sean, is he going to get back fast? I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to slip into the slipstream. He's going to take the draft and just go for the ride.
All over Venom, then a little bit of a mistake in the final corner. Sees him slipping back from Vane and into the jaws of that incredible driver we've been talking so much about. Sean, who has a little look at turn 1. Nothing too convincing, but enough to have Venom offline, enough to have Venom thinking about the car that's behind him for once instead of the cars that are ahead of him. Aerox Vane and Commando, they're still fighting it out for second. It's been a war since lap 1, as it always is at the TCC, and that's why we love this racing so much, but it has been constant battling in this pack around 2nd position ever since the start of this race.
Yeah, disaster strikes with Chasmo, though. One of the guys we'd like to see in the Lobby A says he bought himself a new controller just before the race. Excuses. He's trailing way at the back there. Bang out of form. He's not going to be looking to take any positions, but he's got another 2 chances in tonight's round.
Yeah, here we are on board with Chasmo. One of the few drivers out there to I'll put in one of the standout performance in the season. He's done a good job. I think Chasmo bringing home one of the fastest laps back in Bugatti. So he's stringing together a decent season so far. Sadly, not working out for him here at race 1 at Mugello though.
No, back up the front there. Commando missing his braking marker there. Left the door wide open for Vane. Lucky for him though, Venom was looking up the inside of Vane. So it was really a domino effect. All come out unscathed and survived it. No changes in positions, but Commando is still under threat here from Vane. Just looks like that Audi RS3 seems to have the better handling, and it gets such a better run. I don't think it has the top speed on the Chevy Cruze, but it certainly gets a better run than that back straight. The Honda Civic, though, once it's in that draft, oh my God, it catches up, it reels them in. Look at the distance between Venom and Sean right now.
So buoyant, Venom, so much buoyancy. He got bounced back at the end of lap number 6, I think, and already climbed back those 5 car lengths. He's all over the rear of Vane again. You can't hold him down in that Honda Civic, and it's been well, it's been a little bit of a not quite the start of the race he might have wanted. I think he would have been spoiling for a challenge to the lead here in race number 1, especially from 3rd place in the grid. But the battle's been, a lot of fun to watch. Well, hopefully we can see Venom moving up the pack a little bit here. I feel like he deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean, what a great job from Sean, 1528 at the moment. He's holding off his own under severe pressure from Roadrunner, but this is a perfect joke around for the Aerox boys if it stays like this, because they're going to wish that all the Williams boys don't make as many points as they can. 7 still in 9th. He's not made any ground. Roadrunner can't get past Sean, and Mitch is the only guy that's spearheading the Williams trio out in front, way out in front. He's not going to get challenged. And if it stays like this, lap 9 out of 16, he's going to be taking the win in the race number 1.
Sean defensive on the run down towards turn number 1. Holding back Roadrunner for now. Just fishing around, looking for his moment, biding his time. Sean again placing his car on the apex there, and Roadrunner saying, all right, I'll go all the way around the outside then, that's fine. You go whichever way you like, buddy. I'm going to have that, I'm going to make that happen. That was a sick move there from Roadrunner, through at that first chicane and up to 6th position.
Yeah, you can see the bumps and scrapes on these cars here. The best way to do it is a bump and run there. Sean getting into the sand trap. Turn 4, that's not going to help him. Tactical is going to start the chasing. Remember, that Audi has got the pace on the top end over the Chevy Cruze. The Chevy Cruze has just got all Axel off the line there. Williams 7 looking hungry on Cami. Cami just gets in the back of Tactical. It's all very close. Merckx just out of sight. He's not going to be able to make a move from about 150 feet back. He's just sitting comfortably, sitting in the draft there. Doesn't want to get involved, but he'll definitely pick up the pieces if disaster strikes.
Well, here we are on board with Williams 7. He's looking around there on Cami, but you can see just up the road, Sean's troubles continue. Tactical up the inside through turn 1 and trying to do a repeat of the move that Roadrunner put on him. And Tactical going to make that happen as well. So Sean losing out position over position here in race number 1, slipping all the way back to 7th now. Time was that he was challenging for a podium in this race. No more. Sean needs to get back into his momentum, find his rhythm again. He's offline, he's being bullied by the cars around him.
Yeah, great spatial awareness though. Both went side by side there, turn 4. Great awareness not to collide with each other. That sand trap is deadly, and 7 was looking hungry. No avail for 7. He'll have to do it all over again as Cami looks to make a move on Sean in the latter stages of this race.
GTR Cami repping the second GTR team really here. He's one of the fastest drivers I think in the GTR stable at the moment, but he's sitting there second GTR team on the team's table behind Unseen Saint and his teammates there just up ahead. So he will be looking to do a little bit better than in previous rounds. Cami still fishing around here, looking for a way past Sean, but not looking as convincing, not looking as poised as Roadrunner or Tactical have while they're sitting on his rear bumper. So perhaps Cami here just needing to recenter himself a little bit before he can make that move to 7th.
Yeah, great consistency at the back though. 11th place, PMC Alie, the Polish driver in the Honda Civic. His first time here repping PMC in the Touring Car Championship, and he's done a grand job. He's not gained any places, but he's not lost any places. So he remains in 11th and all over the back of Merckx. Great job.
All right, well, lap number 12 of 16, and we're back on board with RBR Venom, and that fight for 2nd position. It has, well, no, it's been no change so far, but that pack is as close as it ever was as well. Eric Svein still sitting there in 3rd, with Jota Commando in 2nd place. Commando driving the widest Chevy Cruze that we've seen all season around this track. He's only got an advantage, I think, on that front straight, and every time we get to the twisty sections here at Mugello, he's having to position that Cruze on the apex, make sure he's hitting his lines and not leaving any gaps for those hungry RS3s and Civics that are trying to find their way through.
Well, Alie, you can be absolutely sure that all those 3 drivers from 2nd to 4th will have tunnel vision. They're looking for that great big silver 2nd step on the podium, but where they're not looking is right behind. Roadrunner is catching them up as they battle along. He is reducing that distance. Obviously, front-wheel drive is not his type, but he's pulling out all the stops here, and I think that he's in a good shout of making the last gas move to end Venom's victorious debut run.
Roadrunner, we're back on board with him now. Closing up that gap a little bit. It's the Honda Civic again, so it'll be the 2nd Civic in this battle alongside RBR Venom. He's done a good job out there in clean air. He's had a little bit of a moment to get some rhythm together and put some hot laps in, and just managing to edge that gap down by a few car lengths now. Lap 13 and 16, so there's time for this move. There's time to make it happen, but he will need to be very assertive when he gets up there on this pack.
Absolutely, absolutely. What a great race. There's battles going on all over the place. Barry, Turbo, and Matt Gaming there, Sean's partner for the NOS Racing team. That's 13, 14, and 15. I think we just had a disconnect from LSCM Turbo. That is absolute tragedy. That was his first shot in Lobby A. He'll be starting at the back of race number 2. It is a shame, but he's still in Lobby. At least there's no promotion relegation in this kind of championship. So he'll be in the back of Lobby 2, and they'll have to do it all over again.
Well, Aerox Vane now spoiling for the move to second. He's a side by side. We've got the best seat in the house, and that's on board with Venom as Vane fights to stay relevant round the outside of turn 2, just so he can put this move on turn 3. Venom's betting on Commando though, and he goes up the inside of Vane here. That is a very, very insistent move there from Venom. But Vane holding
Keep
him
it going,
off for now.
boys. Keep it going. Oh, he nearly pushes Venom into the sand trap. That was so close to death there for Venom. They're going to go too wide. This is going to be disaster now. Venom's going to have to push wide here, and look where Roadrunner is now. Vane's not going to get the run. He's not going to be able to extend all the way out. I think the Civic here, I think we're going to see a slipstream from Roadrunner, and Vane is going to lose 2 spaces in the space of a start-finish straight. Lap 50 to 16, there's only 1 lap, 2 laps remaining, and Roadrunner's looking up the inside now. He switches back behind Venom, and he's going to go the inside, but he breaks late, Can he cover it off? Can he cover it off? He can't cover it off. He cannot cover it off, and he's 3 wide into turn 2. Go on, Roadrunner.
All 3 going up, and that's Vane pinching across the front of Venom. Venom loses out, Roadrunner loses out. Vane round the outside with a double overtake. Very insistent, very aggressive. I wonder how it'll sit with the marshals, but Vane in 3rd, and now Venom slips all the way back to 5th, and I'll tell you what, right into the jaws of that second pack battle. They've used up all their advantage here on lap number 15, and with 1 lap to go, Tactical is in this hunt.
Absolutely, it's drawn them back in. Venom has just shown so much more pace than Roadrunner. Roadrunner was really gifted a lifeline there by the fact that those guys are battling, but now he's got the full raw pace of Venom behind him. The Red Bull Racing driver is now looking up the inside here. Lap 16 and 16, if he gets up the inside, surely he can cover him off. Roadrunner going on the race line, leaving the room open. He's got to be careful. Tactical is not in challenging position. It's just going to go side by side in the Civic. Look how wide he's going. He's on the grass. He's going super wide. He's going to give the room to Venom. Venom's going to make it through, no problems. No questions asked. He's going for the cut back down. Venom gets his slips. He slips it through. Roadrunner's going to go back through.
Unbelievable fighting here at the end of race 1. This is the last lap, and Roadrunner with the banzai. So late on the brakes and holds it in so sweetly there at the end of that. That has to be the last overtake in this battle. It has to be. We've followed them through the last 2 corners, but I can't see how Venom's going to find a way through. Up in the lead of this race, Mitch crosses the line, takes the race win, well deserved. He's been out there 5 miles, but it's a drag run to the finish for 4th place between Venom and Roadrunner. It will be Roadrunner in 4th, it will be Venom in 5th, and up ahead, Commando held on to 2nd, with Vane fighting, punching his way up into 3rd.
Absolutely, what a finish to race 1. So much more to come here in the AOR TCC Championship. That was a great run, and I think that Williams Roadrunner was really the lifeline that Commando needed. Commando, you know, he had to defend for that entire race. He had the start, of course he had the start in the Chevy Cruze, but then he had to defend for the entire time. Really got a break when Roadrunner decided to enter the mix as well, and I feel that just that little clip on the rear end, of course, that's not where the driver of the car is. If the back end comes loose in these cars, it's not game over, but you're going to lose it, and you can just see the best way there when they do lose it is in fact just to power out, just to power out and steer the car in the direction you want it to go. So that's when you saw the tire smoke billowing, and I think Venom let off there. He knew that he was in the wrong slightly, clipped the back of Roadrunner, but then nearly made it back past, and Roadrunner made it back past him. We thought it was over. I thought it was over when Venom made that move. I really thought he was going to take that position back, but he didn't hold it. Great job.
Yeah, you know, for me, that moment of 3 wide, that was really all on Vane though. Vane was on the outside into turn 2 with Venom in the middle, then Roadrunner on the inside, and Vane just cut right across, squeezed in on Venom, really squirreled his car right the way, you know, in the way that only front-wheel drive cars can. Got the thing completely sideways across his nose and brought it back in. That was a real pinch from Vane there, and I wonder whether or not it'll be one that the marshals look at later on, just because it was so punchy, so aggressive. We've seen earlier on in the season, though, Vane is an aggressive driver. He races, you know, with his heart on his sleeve, and well, it's worked for him in the past. It might work for him again here at Mugello.
Absolutely, and we're yet to see. You know, this is a tough track. You have to make the opportunities for yourself. They won't present them, or they very rarely do, and there's not many places that they can either, Ali. So bumper running, for me, is probably the most common way of overtaking someone. Give someone a slight nudge, make him go wide, take it, go side by side, wrestle your way through. I think Venom did a great job on Vane. He kept it clean as he could, but then it's just started to get argy-bargy towards the end, especially when, like you say, he cut across. I completely forgot. He was like he was racing like there was no one else there on track. You know what I mean? He didn't give the room or the time of day for the other two drivers. Will the marshals look at that and think, that's too much? You crossed the line there. We're going to have to give you a penalty, or they're just going to see it as a racing incident? But that's the question we have to ask, but we certainly can't answer it.
Absolutely right. Can't answer it. We'll have to wait and see. The steward decisions will come out after the race. That's how it works here at Apex Online Racing. So do keep an eye on the website. That, of course, is apexonlineracing.com. And conveniently enough, that's also a website you can go to sign up for this championship. So if you're feeling like you want to get a bit of touring cars in your blood, a bit of touring cars into your weekly schedule, then hop on over to apexonlineracing.com and get yourself signed up for some racing. And of course, a plethora of other racing activities are on there as well. So whatever you tipple, whatever you like to race on, you can find yourself something to do over there at apexonlineracing.com. Today, though, the TCC and Mitch holds on again, Mellish. He's looking so unstoppable this season.
Wow, you say that, but wait for race 2, because now Commando has climbed another 2 rungs on this grid ladder. He will now be starting in 2nd place, and we know that he can take 2 cars off the line, so I'm not going to be surprised if he's going to be leading this race into turn 1, of course, as well. Tactical moved up the grid. I think he finished, is it 6th place? Let me just take a look. I really can't remember. I should have prepared this sentence. Yeah, he finished in 6th place, so can we expect him to see him get maybe into that podium bubble, that 3rd, 4th position? Can he pit Roadrunner to the 1st? But these guys are making their way up, and then they're just defending great. And Mugello is such a perfect defending track, because it really is only one line. They get the opportunity to defend. Vane tried to make the move on Commando. Commando was just not having it. And every time he tried to make a bumper run, he positioned that cruise so he couldn't be taken advantage of. He was parking it perfectly on the apexes, and he was going mid-track. Like you say, got his elbows up high and wide. There was no stopping him. He deserved that 2nd place. Mitch, what a drive. He knew what he had to do, and really the fate was decided when Mitch knew that if he'd let Commando pass like he did at Bugatti circuit, there was no chance he was going to get back past him. There was absolutely no chance. He made him go wide into the 1st corner, took the apex, and Mitch just set off from there, and there was no looking back. It was over before it started.
Absolutely right. Mitch's teammate, possibly the race, the best race out there. We didn't really follow it while we were going, but Williams Roadrunner started that race in 9th position. He made up 5 spots, finished it in 4th. He'll be starting race number 2 and 4th. Absolutely incredible run from a driver who, he keeps on explaining to us that front-wheel drive isn't his thing, that he's not very good at it, but he's out there on track. Well, his mouth says one thing and his driving says another.
Yes, it definitely does. I couldn't agree with you more, but I have to say at the same time, I think it was the battle that invited him, and it was definitely, once that battle dispersed and it was just him and Venom definitely far more superior in the Honda Civic. He kept trying to move up the inside on him. He got a better run out the last corner on him, I think for the last 3 laps. So it looks like Venom he's a little bit more comfortable in this Honda Civic than Roadrunner. So there is a hint of truth in what Roadrunner is saying. He doesn't feel comfortable in these cars. You can slightly see it, but the pace is marginal. For me, Sean, what a shame. Absolutely what a shame.
Yeah.
Started in 4th, down to 8th. You're playing with the big boys. If you give them an opportunity, if you open the door, you can expect more than one person to come through it. He's got to learn his lesson, and he's got to learn it quick. He's in race 2. He's still in the top 10. I think he can still make positions here.
You're absolutely right. I hope so too. Sean will be starting race number 2 in 8th position, as you say. Not as strong as his previous starting point, and maybe some work to do there moving forward up the field. He'll have grown a few hairs in his chest, though. It'll all be good experience for the young driver, who's still being moulded into what could be a championship winner in future. Somebody who we're talking about at the very top of the field. Not this day in history, though. We're still living in the present, and Venom still seems like the driver to beat in some ways. Well, if you can get past Mitch, that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering what Vane can do this time round. If he's going, is he going to calm down? He seems like his aggression has not left him sit for the first 2 rounds. He seems to be more apparent as ever here at Mugello, and he's just going to calm it down. He's got to become the grey man once and for all. He always seems to put himself in sticky situations. Just got to calm it down. Calm it down. You're in a great place. You're starting third. I think he can hold third absolutely here. He's in the Audi. He's going to have the handling. Just needs to relax. Just needs to relax. Easier said than done, though, I should say.
It is
really badly right now.
Yeah, and you know, we want laps are a tense moment. The race itself is something else altogether. You can, you know, sit there in the warm-up lap, and you know that really, as long as you don't go in the car in front, you can spend most of your time worrying about your mindset. But once you're in the race, it's all adrenaline, it's all pushing. And well, the cars will be racing soon, just going around the last couple of corners now.
Yeah, these guys will be soon lined up on the grid. We've got Mitch in first, Commando in second, Vane in third. Then we have Williams Roadrunner really bagging some serious points here, some serious position gains in the first race. He'll be starting fourth. Can he hold on to that position, though, with Venom charging and looking a little bit more comfortable in the Honda Civic here as well. I think Venom is running with JSR Type R as his teammate there for, I think it's Medford Racing, I think it is. Could be wrong. Tactical in sixth, Cammy seventh, Sean in 8th, Williams 7th in 9th. We haven't seen the best from Williams 7 just yet. Amex Merckx in 10th, Alie 11th, Barcode 12th, Barry 13th, and then we have Matt Gaming 14th, Chasmo 15th, and an LSCM Turbo with the disconnect in the first race. He'll be starting right at the very back.
I think it's important to get on this battle for the lead at the start of this race. We're sitting on board right now with Aerox Vane as Commando just gets himself a little bit out of grid position there, wriggling around in second position. Aerox Vane looking forward to this fight for the lead. You've got to think Commando can do this, Mesh, as the cars get ready for the start.
Yeah, I'm going to look back at Tactical, though, because I believe that he is going to be an essential ingredient into this mid-pack, top-pack battle here with Venom and Roadrunner. I think he's going to be a crucial ingredient in that. Bad start for Venom, really bad start. He dumped the clutch and stalled it. Cammy's looking up the inside, Sean's looking up the inside. We've got 7 catching up as well. Tactical's already into 4th and he's looking up the inside of Mitch. He's coming straight through. Is it going to be a Remus Racing 1 and 2 again, like it was with Bugatti? What a great job. He's looking up the inside, 3 wide, into turn 1, Alie. Could ask for any better.
Getting bullied there, little Mitch. That Honda Civic suddenly looking very small indeed. It's looked unassailable, race on race on race. But here we are at the start of race number 2, round number 3 of the Apex Online Racing Touring Car Championship. And Mitch suddenly looking a little bit more human. Jota Commando's gotten away with it, absolutely destroyed that start, went down towards turn 1, easily in the lead. And all about that hunt for Mitch now, I think, and that battle for the lead. Tactical already, though, Mellish, getting threatened by Vane.
Tactical's not getting threatened by Vane. Vane is getting absolutely ambushed here by Tactical. You picked the wrong person to have a battle with here. Tactical and the Chevy Cruze is built like a goddamn tank, those things. It is the wrong person to have a pick a fight with. Don't pick on a bully. Here's Roadrunner, though. He's looking to hold off the Honda Civic of Red Bull Racing Venom. And Aerox Vane looking to go all the way around the outside in the RS3 here. Trying to keep his nose in. That's all he's got to do. Roadrunner has to give room if he keeps his nose in. He definitely does that, but Roadrunner goes wide there, and then he's just going to slam it on the apex there, cover himself off, and get a massive run there as they all bump together. Roadrunner secures 4th at the moment, temporarily. Vane in 5th, and Venom still in 6th.
Roadrunner loves that move round the outside at turn 2. He's been looking so confident there. The car looks so planted, making it work again. We've jumped back on board here with 6th position. That's Venom. Venom, who's not had maybe the race one that he would have wanted exactly. Caught up in a bit of a quagmire in the back of the second. And, well, he's back at square one, I would say, here in race number 2. He's got it all to do once again. And that's Civic with a little bit more top end in Vane. They have 1 pass done, I think, out to turn 1. There's plenty more ahead of him for him to overtake later in this race.
Yeah, Vane getting it all wrong, though, coming out the last corner at the Mugello Club circuit there. Hit the grass. Still at the inside of Venom, actually spears into the side of Venom, shunts him wide. The Venom will just have to rescind into that 6th place once again. All the work there done by Venom, though, and Vane getting it all wrong again, just clipping the sand trap. Venom keeps positioning himself in the wrong place, though. He has no option. He's going right around the outside. What a move there from Venom. That is a great move now. All he's going to do is force Vane, pin him to the curb, and he'll take that line from him, definitely. Don't give him the room to make the opportunity. And I think that, oh, Vane's coming back. Don't give him the room.
I love this.
Look.
This battle's gone all the way round one whole lap now. We're starting the second one with the cars neck and neck once again. That little advantage for Venom once he starts getting his speed up on the straight. Just tapping there, trying to get that run. And so many drivers now gathering behind us. That Williams 7 I see just perched there, waiting for an opportunity. And 7 up the inside now of Venom. And these two going side by side into turn 2. 7 knows what he can do around the outside here. His teammate Roadrunner's proved it already. He's going to make it look very easy indeed in that Civic, or is he? Venom with a beautiful power out of turn 3.
Vane, though, closing the door off. He's really narrowing 7's escape here. He's looking for a way through. Vane just absolutely bullying. Cammy getting lost there in the turn 4. Sim twitching, and it's 3 wide at the back here. 7 holds on for 6, but Vane, he's just looking super aggressive. He's almost looking reckless. He's got to calm it down. He's all over the place, in the grass, in the sand, but he's still making places. Don't give him the room. Look, he's on the grass again.
Wow.
He's looking up the inside. He's going to take that easy 7th spot away. Vane's got to calm down, Alie.
Absolute disaster for Vane. This last couple of laps, 3 positions gone, just in the blink of an eye. Vane looking a little out of sorts. We're not used to it. We're not used to seeing Vane really been under this much pressure, been pushed around this much. You know, I've got to say, it's not a colour that suits him. Sinking back there a little bit now and into 6th position. Excuse me, 8th position. He's going to have to find his way back a little bit further up this pack, though. We're going to jump forward now to another battle, even though that one for second is so hot. It's the battle here for the lead, which we're going to focus on. That's Williams Mitch, who's now closed in on Jota Commando and is fishing around in the final couple of corners.
Oh, what a dive bomb in the Civic! He tries to engine brake it. Commando senses the move. What a great comeback there. What a great cutback right underneath. Commando takes the lead again. He's extending that lead by a couple of car lengths there, but Commando, he's going to start to think that won't last further. He's not a one-trick pony, certainly Sean. He'll have many tricks under his sleeve. But it's lap 7 of 16, Alie. How long can he hold off that Civic? He's got to start to think. He's got to reel in his teammate Tactical, use Tactical and Roadrunner to battle off. And like he did before, use other people around him. There are other resources on the track than rather trying to sweat this one out and keep the lead.
Yeah, you're too right. This is that one again. We're just watching it for a second time. The run into the final corner. Big old lunge from Mitch. Well wide, and Commando very happy to do the over-under on him, slipping back through into the lead of that race, but fighting away those two and heading back round to the scene of the crime right now on board with Mitch, the back of this track. And just as the replay moves away, you can see Mitch starting to position himself once again for an overtake here and for a chance to the lead of this race.
It's Cruz on Civic, Cruz on Civic. It looks like they're going at it as well in 3rd and 4th place. Tactical under severe pressure. He's been going side by side with Roder now. Numerous laps going into the first corner. Always holds the inside line though and comes out on top going into turn 2. But it just looks ever more threatening. It's the longer way round. If you go the longer way round, you've got to take a longer distance. And that means that Tactical is just being able to keep that position as well. But while they're battling, it means that Mitch has got all the time he needs to challenge Commando. Commando really has to slow it down. Slow it right down, let the other two catch up, and then peel away.
Tell you what, Tactical put so much faith in Roadrunner in that defence. Roadrunner really had a little inch on his quarter panel, a little moment there, which he could have used to spin Tactical round and said, oh, sorry, even if he did it, a little bit on purpose. But Roadrunner, credit to him, lifted off on the brakes and said, all right, you have that apex then, it doesn't mean that much to me. Let's keep this battle going later on.
Look at that. Roadrunner straddles the racing line there. He's trying to cut off the nose of Tactical. Can he get it? He's got to get it close. He's got to keep it tight. Keep it tight. That way, he's still around the inside. He's made it work this time. Just slips under braking. Gets a loose. Gets the rear loose. He's going to go for the cutback on Tactical. Tactical takes the racing line. Tactical again in racing position for turn 4, and he's going to have to do it all over again. just can't quite get it done. But the battle up ahead is so close now. Mitch and Commando are at it once again. That gap is non-existent between the two drivers.
I just got to say it again though, Maj, before we were sitting here, we're looking at Mitch, we're looking at Commando, but before we move on completely to Tactical, completely new driver this season. I love it. Tactical is so hungry, he's so aggressive on track, and it's great to see just chipping away at cars around him, giving them little pokes. It's really it's a whole new driver this season. It's fantastic to see. Mitch well wide here with Commando on a defensive line into turn 1, and Mitch is going to try it all the way around the outside. A lot of guts trying that move out. I'm not sure it's going to work out for him as Commando pinches his nose into turn 2 and says, all right, you've had your fun. I'm going to take the lead back now, mate.
That was actually a really crafty move there from Mitch. He just tapped Commando into that curve there, said you've got to avoid going into turn 1 because it does scrub off a lot of speed there, and it did, and it allowed Mitch right the way around the outside. Commando though held it off expertly right the way around the outside, did a late break into turn 2 and gave no room to Mitch into turn 3 as well. Cut off that apex beautifully, and they still not over, Alie. 6 laps, and these drivers are going at it, and look where Venom is now. Venom is on the back of that pack. That 2-man battle is turned into a 4-man battle. 7 is going to be able to help his teammate Roadrunner as well. I don't know where to go.
We've got to keep monitoring this battle for the lead just a little bit. I'm watching that battle for 3rd as well. Keeping an eye on it. But now, though, Mitch tries it again. Exactly the same. Tries the same move. It's not going to work out for him. So we're going to hold just for a second or two with Venom so you can see what's going on. Venom joining the rear there of Williams Roadrunner and saying, hello, mate. So you haven't managed to get past Tactical yet. How about you give me a go on the old playground bicycle, mate? Let's see if I can get past him instead.
Yeah, Tactical, if he had enough trouble trying to fend off 1 Civic, he's got even more trouble finding off 2. Even 3, 7 is not going anywhere as well. That is a big lunge from Roadrunner as well. He looks super loose. You can tell he's just so much more tense in this Honda Civic. What a great run from Venom though. He's going to go side by side with Williams Roadrunner. That is an easy overtake there. He's going to slipstream right past him. But Roadrunner's coming back there. Looked like he had a better 4th gear. Looked like the 4th gear was just a little bit more extended in the Honda Civic of Roadrunner, and he's going to hold that place there. And Venom is going to go all the way around the outside. 7's coming in. Can Roadrunner
pinching Roadrunner on the apex, and that is Roadrunner's not on the power he wants to be. He's not getting onto that thing like he might want to. No, he holds it though. He holds it just about. I thought that Tactical was going to be a difference maker there. It didn't quite happen to be in the end.
If you're Roadrunner, you want to help. You want your teammate up there. You know, if your teammate's there in the same colours as you, want that bright green bonnet behind you, because he knows you'll be doing you a favour, holding Venom back. And this is going to allow Tactical. Tactical's going to be allowed to peel off right now if he doesn't make a mistake. And we're talking thousands. That's a mistake from Roadrunner. Clips the grass. Venom sends an opportunity off the inside.
Wow.
He's doing what Mitch couldn't do on the Commando, and he's going to make it work. But again, that 4th gear from Roadrunner, watch him pull away in 4th gear. He just gets a slight edge on him. Slight edge on him. It's not going to work. It is.
I think it's just...
I think they're really
so
slightly
close.
different gear ratios.
So close, unbelievable from Venom and Roadrunner here. Every lap fighting it out. Venom finally making that move work, making it look convincing, getting up into 4th, and now hoping to get his head down and push on towards Tactical. I've got a feeling though that Roadrunner might have a different idea for the rest of the race. He might think Venom might want to spend the rest of the race battling with him instead of moving on up to fight for a podium position. We'll wait and see. We'll sit on board here with Roadrunner as they come in through the last corner, and Roadrunner scares Venom a little bit with that early apex.
Roadrunner's got such a more aggressive mentality going into that second to last corner. He almost spearheads that Civic towards the sand trap and turns it. You can see the twitchiness of that Civic as well when he does it. It's worked out for him so far, but it's just not consistent enough. He takes such a more aggressive line than the other Civic drivers. Maybe he wants to rethink that, but if it's working for him, stick with it if he feels comfortable. Oh, and that's Venom going late under brakes. He's going to go the inside Tactical. If this happens, Roadrunner and 7 are going to have an absolute golden moment, a golden opportunity to make this back. Still unchanged at the front. Commando is holding off the Civic and Mitch. I don't know if that's going to last. 2.5 laps to go, Alie, and it's Civic and Chevy all the way.
Unbelievable. It's been so close all around this pack. We don't know where to look. We don't know where to go because everyone is fighting. Let's have another recap with that battle for the lead, though. Mitch continues to hunt Commando. It's unchanged, really. These two now heading around the start, the penultimate lap. So only 2 more circulations of the short little Mugello club circuit remain. And Mitch is going to have to do something other than try it round the outside of turn 1. It's the only thing he's tried so far, round the outside of turn 1, hoping to get the inside at turn 2. And Commando has resisted it every which way but Sunday.
Yeah, but it's worked out once again. Mitch filters back through. It's not happening behind, though. Tactical is using the same tactics, I should say, as his teammate Commando for the Remus Racing team. He's doing absolute fine form here in the Chevy Cruze, holding off 3 Civics. This car, the Civic, is just so much better on the straight, on the top speed. It's got better handling than the Chevy. That Chevy, it just shows you getting such a great start absolutely matters. If you can defend and hold your line, the start is all you need. And Tactical and Commando for the Remus Race team doing a fine job. A third and a... Oh, it's going to work.
Unbelievable. Mitch with the move at the final corner, throws it, sends it in there, and takes the lead of this race. It was a real dive on, a real surprise one for Commando. He doesn't, importantly, Commando there didn't have the lead crossing the line. So that's maybe a move that even if Mitch loses out here, he can try and repeat on in the final lap. We're back, though, to that same old battle around the outside of turn 1, but Mitch just does not seem able to win.
What a great job from Commando to make that, you know, what you think it's all done and dusted. Once that Civic gets past, Commando is just forcing his way through. Behind, though, just to give you an update, Tactical got loose in the braking, got a bit of a bump from Benham. He's shoved all the way back to 6th place. Williams 7 now in 3rd, Roadrunner in 4th, and Benham is back in 5th. It's all swapsies here in the last half a lap of this race too.
But we're not looking at it. We're not looking at it because round the last corner now, Mitch back to the scene of the crime, and he's up the inside of Commando. He wants to try it again, and powering out the last corner. It's going to be a drag race for the win. It's going to all down the gear shifts. Mitch getting into the side of Commando, getting aggressive. He's on the grass. Mitch takes the win, bumping and grinding down the back straight there, and Mitch showing that he wanted it. Crikey. Who is this guy behind the wheel? Is Mitch some kind of werewolf or vampire?
I tell you something, Alie. I just don't think that Commando will have any complaints. He will probably be smiling. It's very clever what Mitch did. He knew that Chevy had the Excel, so he scrubbed the speed off. He didn't hit him off the track. He just rubbed the wheel arches. And he just scrubbed that acceleration off. What a smart move. And it was so close to the line. He did it just enough. He did it delicately enough that the race marshals may question it. But I don't think they're going to call it either. I think it's just going to be a racing incident, if anything, if an SI is put in. And I think that Mitch just sneakily edged his way there in the last, on the line of the race.
Absolutely loved it.
He knew that is a one trick. That is a one, what's the word? What's the word? Like, you can only do that once in a race. It's a unicorn move, almost. You can only pull it once, because as soon as you do it, you'll never be allowed to do it again. Because the driver that you're doing it with will know. He left it. He left it. That is smart, pinpoint and precise. Gotta love it.
Brilliant. I love that, because I was watching him through that first turn. He tried the same move for like 10 laps running, and I was thinking, Mitch is cleverer than this. He's a smarter driver than this. Why are we seeing Mitch just kind of beating his head against a brick wall and waiting for the bricks to break? Why are we seeing him try the same thing and failing at it over and over again? But actually, he's had an ace up his sleeve all the way down there. He's had this card in mind, and he just slid it across the table there last moment. Royal flush, and Commando losing out on the final corner of the final lap.
People are absolutely outraged in the YouTube chat. They're saying that's dirty. He turned twice. I've got 2 words for you guys: touring cars, and deal with it. This is what you expect here. Like, if you come here and you expect, you know, to have a golden toilet seat and someone provides, you know, a toilet roll and a purple pillow with golden tassels, you came to the wrong place. This is down and dirty. Rolling your sleeves, grease,
some
oil.
cologne, sir.
Yes, you come to the wrong place for that. It was spectacular, and that was the icing on the cake. Just behind, saw Tactical actually get loose under braking. He'd been perfecting it all that time, and then he just locked up slightly. Venom went into the back of him, sent him slightly wide. Roadrunner and 7 go up the inside. 7 actually takes 3rd place. She's been hanging in 6th and 7th this entire race. Roadrunner follows him through. Tactical makes his way back through on 5th place, and Venom ends up in 6th. It was an absolute roller coaster ride between 3rd and 6th there. Venom charging for most of that and really looked like he was going to secure that podium finish. Didn't work out for him, but 7 and Roadrunner, what a Williams finish. 3 Williams drivers, top 4. Top 5 is going to just be Remus Racing and Williams Esports. What a battle between these two. And Vane, not in sight.
Unbelievable race. And Vane looked like he was getting bullied that race. That was the first time that I've looked at Vane and thought, you're not the punchiest person out there on track anymore, are you? You're starting to look like there's a few people out there who maybe sock a better undercut than you do. I've got to say, RBR Venom did manage to scrape a little bit of silver lining from that slightly rough race. Another race where he didn't quite get what he wanted. He did get the fastest lap out there. It's a 58.1 dead. So that's well, that would have been pole position, I think, but not quite the 57s that we've been promised, that we've been hoping for from practice.
No, but what I have to say is about the lap times. Look how close they've been. You know, 51.8s, we're seeing 58.1. Sorry, not 51s. That'd be magical. 58.1s here from Williams 7. Now he was just inside the top 10 going into Lobby A. He's pulling out the same times right now as his counterpart William Mitch. Also Williams Roadrunner hitting the 0.3, Tactical with the 0.4, Venom with the 0.1, Aerox Vane with the 0.1. We didn't see that many 0.1s, I don't think. I think what we saw were 0.2s, and that was Mitch. Mitch was with the 0.2, so now we're seeing a lot of 0.2s. Cammy with a 0.2, Alie with a 0.2. I mean, yes, they may be slightly extending around the track, but that is great race pace. That's absolutely fantastic to think about it.
Yeah.
Look how close they are on the finishing line as well. You've got a 0.357 total time, a 0.364 total time, and then you've got 2 people in the 0.3s, literally like within hundreds and tenths of a second of each other. That's how you want touring cars to be. Literally side by side. I love when we have finishes like that. The last time we had a great finish like that, Alie, was, I think it was the V8 supercars at Sebring, and it was Roadrunner and Racers going across the line together. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's tingles, man. It's just pure tingles.
It's something else, isn't it? It is something else. What a great finish by those 2 drivers. I've got to say, we haven't had a moment to say it yet today, but big kudos and big shout out to all the admins working very hard out there for AOR and putting together the Touring Car Championship. A little bit of a hashtag blame Dunk out there maybe, but there's nothing to blame him for is the problem. It's been one of those days, you know. It's been sweet as a nut. So definitely brilliant to see. Everything's running so tickety-boo this week. Lovely.
It is actually really nicely, and I think we should say a massive thanks not just to AOR, obviously AOR that run this as well. It's been great. It's a great season. I'm so glad they picked up the TCC. It was probably the best choice in Forza Motorsport 7 as far as the championship is concerned. I'd love to see an IndyCar championship, but touring car will have to do for me at the moment. But also a massive thank you to all the volunteers as well, because they have to make this work. Without the volunteers, this does not work. And you know, it's usually people that are racing on the night. You know, they've got the knowledge of the game. They come in, they go, hey, can you do it? Yeah, sure, no problem. And Mitch has done an outstanding job. And I'm pretty sure the other guys in all the other lobbies from B downwards have done the same. But a massive thank yous to those, because if we didn't have that, there would be no one organising the lobbies. And I think it's important to notice that.
Too right. Well, we're hopefully gearing up towards the last race here, and it's of course the icing on the cake, the cherry on the touring car, and that is the reverse grid race. We don't mess around here at AOR. We don't do anything by halves. The reverse grid is all the way to the back of the grid. So if you're qualified in first position for race number 1, then you're going to be in 16th position for race number 3, and it's a long way up. It's a long way forward, and certainly matters. We haven't seen anyone pull out a triple win yet so far at the AOR TCC. I think that would be a pretty big ask, because in the final race you'd probably have to get past another 15 drivers. Very, very difficult indeed, and a whole lot of fun to watch.
Well, it was great to see the LCM Turbo that started last in race number 2 actually made his way up to 12th. So it was I kind of feel like just deserves for that man. You know, he disconnected in the first race. You never wish that on anybody. When you have a bit of a ropey internet connection, sometimes Forza itself really doesn't help with multiplayer connectivity. Great job, 12th place, solid job for his first debut in race number 2. I bet he had to really work for that. We do apologise. There are 16 people in this lobby, but we can only put 2 eyes or 4 eyes on one place at a time, and they were battling all the time. I absolutely. Do you know what this reminds me of? And it's the same analogy again, not the Jenga one. Don't worry, but it's the same analogy as I said before about the bikes. You know the long distance cycling events you see in the Olympics. You see the guys up front, and then you see packs. You just see packs, and they're always in packs. You never see stragglers. They're always bunched at least in the pair, and then they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that Pentalon, we just couldn't get on board with because the action was so hot at the front.
Absolutely, and it's been hot here at Mugello. We do hop back and we try to as much as we can, but there's really, you know, when you're monitoring Williams Mitch waiting to make his dive bomb banzai move on Commando on the last corner of the last lap, you don't want to miss that. So, and can't always be on board with everybody. This has been a great race, though, great round. This is the first time I've seen touring cars at Mugello, and I love it. I think this fits into the touring car calendar so nicely. An essential stop now from now on, I think. Mugello Club, brilliant.
And I think it also tailors towards touring cars, like their market, their culture, is you don't need a big technical circuit to have great racing. You know, it would have been great to have the full Mugello, but I just don't think we would have had the same gravity in terms of how much action we've seen. I think, you know, we're utilizing all the tracks here. I think like a small Rio would have been cool. Like, you know, like the Rio mini circuit, like 3 quarters, you know what I mean? Just like one chicane, and
I agree.
that's the kind of, that's touring car nature right there, you know? And it's not often, you can't run Formula 1 around there. You can't run, you know, high performance cars around there. But with touring cars, you can, because it is acceptable to bump and run people. It is acceptable to have, there is a line in the sand, obviously. You can't be dirty, but you can just get in there, roll your sleeves up, just deck him in the nose a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, absolutely right, though. It's, you know, you can bounce yourself over the curbs, you can get in there, agile between the corners and between concrete walls. I love it, you know. Long Beach as well, street circuits. Touring cars suit them really nicely. You don't see it so much on the British Touring Car Championship schedule, but you see it out in Europe a whole lot more, and it's excellent to see. Right, well, we are loading in for race number 3. Here we go, Melish. It's the reverse grid race. Of course, you all know it already, but I'll tell you again. We're going to have a warm-up lap, so we're not going to be jumping straight into the action. So, you know, you can stay on the edge of your seat. You can stay sitting there. Don't let me tell you where you can or can't sit. That's not where we should be going here. We should be going somewhere else. Here we go. Over to that. It is the final race, and the car's getting warmed up. Of course, the grid here. Matt Gaming 661 on pole, Barry second, LCM Turbo in third, Chasmo in fourth position, Barcode in fifth. Actually, I'm moving too fast there, because Turbo in third, the driver we're sitting and looking at here, surely somebody we're looking out for, Mesh. Kind of first day out in Lobby A, first time up here at the
I think he's going for the win.
I think he's going for that W. I agree.
I think he's going for that. I absolutely agree. The way that, you know, we didn't obviously see him a lot in the first race. We didn't see him at all in the second race. But the way that he moved through the ranks silently and swiftly, and he's going to do exactly the same with the people he's in front of, I think he's got a really good chance of getting the win for the Lightspeed Endurance Motorsport team. It'd be great for their credibility. Obviously, former TUS, now with LSCM, he's joined a great team, and I think that in that Audi RS3. It's a tongue twister that for me. I don't know why. I think he's got a really good chance. I really honestly do. But Matt Gaming, he's no slouch, and neither's Barry. Barry nearly had a win. He's running with people that won the wins. This is W territory right at the front here. PMC Alie, Chasmo. It's going to be all out. It's going to be an all-out war.
It is. I'm going to get, I think, on board with Barcode for the start of this one. TUS Barcode. He's sitting in fifth. I'm on board with him because I think it's a good view as we run down toward the start finish there. You can see the orange car just over the head of LCM Turbo. That's pole position sitter Matt 661. Barry second, of course, with Turbo third Chasmo just to our left in 4th, just off camera behind Barcode. To the left is PMC Alie, and then behind again is Tactical HD1. So we could expect to see here sitting on board, perhaps Tactical with that incredible run from on the cruise, blasting his way by. Here we go to the run down towards turn 1. It's all green, and LSEM Turbo off to a tasty start there, getting a nice bit of traction. Behind him, Tactical hasn't managed to put a convincing start together as he creeps up though. I thought he'd get that done a little bit earlier. I thought they'd get that done sooner. But it may be enough now for Turbo to hold Tactical back. Maybe not. No, Tactical looking so insistent in that cruise as Barry gets it sideways, gets into the nose of Tactical, and Turbo is up into the podium.
Absolutely there. Barry and Turbo just getting together. Barcode seems to be in the mix as well. Tactical looking on the outside, but Barry gives them a tap again. These two guys swapping paint with each other. Barry looking towards the outside. He doesn't want to allow Chevy through. Chasmo in 6th. Alie in 7th. Roadrunner has already made his way up to 9th here with 7 just behind him. Cami looking, it's just a civic trio at the moment. Alie looking strong as well. Chasmo goes wide. He's going to get absolutely swarmed out. It was the wrong line. He's going to get forced off the grass. Just manages to keep it on. But Barry doesn't hold on, and Tactical will take that 4th place. 7th to 4th in 1 lap.
7th to 4th in 1 lap, and Tactical now staring down the muzzle of a podium position, so not too shabby for him at all. The cars heading round turn 1 for the first time in real anger, I guess, after the start of the race.
Takes the lead.
PMC Alie gets through there, and is that Turbo in the lead? Is that what you said?
Turbo takes the lead. He's fighting with Matt Gaming there. They both get loose. Matt Gaming loses another position to Barcode. He's going to get a big bump here, and Turbo is extending away here. Tactical is making his way in through into 3rd. Matt Gaming just seizes up the inside there. He's going to block off Tactical. He wants to get that run on Barcode. He's got a very small amount of time to do it because Tactical is back on his back end, and Alie is not going anywhere either. Oh, I love this Turbo. What a start from Turbo.
Let's go. Turbo starting to break the pack as well. Barcode, just a few car lengths appearing between him and Turbo up there in the lead. Matt 66661 now testing, trying for a move here. Tactical isn't going to want to give it up. You can see his bonnet bobbing away there at the back of the screen. Bobbing, ducking, weaving, trying to find the Chevy Cruise shape gap as Matt gets it so wide into turn 1. He's going to get punished for that. 2 cars are through. PMC Alie trying to come through as well. That's 3 positions lost and just 1 tiny mistake. Tactical though through into 2nd, Mellish, into 2nd.
I think he's going to be reaping the rewards. He wants some sort of redemption for the misfortunes that were brought upon him in the latter stages of race number 2. He's in an ideal situation. Turbo's got about 10 car lengths ahead of him, but we've got 12 laps here at the Mugello Club Circuit, the final race of round 3 of the TCC, and I feel that he's going to get him, Alie. He's going to get him.
Well, this race beginning to separate into 2 packs. We've got that leader, Turbo. We've got Tactical, who I suspect will start to be able to break this pack in 2nd, and actually has done already. And then we've got Matt Gaming 6661 fighting there with Barcode, and then ahead of him is that PMC Alie in 3rd.
Alie in 3rd.
Those 3 fighting it out for that last step on the podium. But the 2. Well, 1st and 2nd, starting to head off into the Italian countryside and way off into the distance.
Yeah, great job from Alie at the moment. You should see the way he drives. He absolutely trail brakes into the first corner. He's straddling the curb on the outside and just shoots. He actually turns the car before he starts to brake, just points it where he wants it to go, and then it just hooks very nicely on the cambered section before making contact with the curb. He's doing great. Under pressure from Barcode, but he's holding strong in 3rd place. Matt Game in 5th. Barry in 6th after starting in 2nd. Cami looking up the inside in the Civic's not going to work out. Williams Roden is going to sense an opportunity here to take the 2. He's going to make it past Cami, and there is no sight of Commando and no sight of Mitch as we go into lap 6.
All right, well, here we are getting on board with Alie. I like the sound of that line into turn 1, so let's hop on board with him here. He gets all aggressive, gets a little bit squirrely and hard under the brakes into T1. I love that. Lots and lots of aggression there from the Honda Civic as he runs it into T1. Nice to see, and yeah, awesome to do as well. If you get a car which is just tuned up perfectly like that, it's such a good experience to squish the thing into a corner that way.
Alie, do me a favour. Go on with
Go on,
Mitch
mate.
and just take a look at his view. Take a look at the view that he's got. It is unbelievable.
Mitch
There are
sitting
so
right
many
now
shades
in
of
12.
speed. Look at it.
Unbelievable. He's struggling, trying to get past AMS Merckx, saying, why did I teach you this much? Why did I let you practice with me? You're too fast now for me to easily get past. Merckx sitting there in 12th now, and Mitch trying to find his way forward up this track. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Merckx this time round, for Mitch, excuse me, this time round. I can't see him getting a podium position.
Yeah, but it also means that Commando fell short as well. He didn't get the start that he wanted. Must have messed up off the line because he's around in 15th place there. Sean way at the back. I thought he may have had a good race there, but he seems to be left. He had a good qualifying. That was just his problem. He started in 4th or 5th on the grid, and he's now in 16th. That, you know, that's kind of part and parcel of getting a good quality. You've got to take the good with the bad, I'm afraid, as he resides in last place at the moment.
Race number 3, it's the reverse grid race here at the Apex Online Racing Touring Car Championship. And LSEM Turbo leads the way. The big names, those huge names we've seen winning races, the likes of Williams Mix, the likes of Jota Commando, RBR Venom. Top names out there driving. All at the back of the grid, that's where they started. They're trying to force their way, fight their way up this field, but only really Roadrunner making any progress so far. 7th position for him. It's a long way forward up to the lead of this race between Tactical and LSEM Turbo.
Has to be said, I'm actually quite relieved. It's very, very quiet for Bane at the moment. He is trying to make a little move on Barry. Seems to be making the switch back on him. He's going to make an easy pass around the outside here. He's going to hold it. This seems to be the place to do it as well. Barry will have to go narrow and short here. That's going to allow Chasmo to reel him in, but Bane makes a place up very, very easily. And now he's got Cammy to chase on afterwards. Barry starting strong in this race, but he's starting to lose it. It's just, he gets nervous. I bet he's ringing with sweat. He just needs to calm down. Oh, wow, Mitch. Where did Mitch come from there? Mitch just absolutely slammed into the side panel of 7, his teammate, to try and take 11th place. He's looking frustrated and impatient. He can't make the gains. 7 is like, no, that's not going to work. Because it's not going to happen. 7 is a very stubborn character. I love 7 for who he is. He doesn't give things people easily. Doesn't give in easily. We've seen that before.
Yeah, true. I will say, Maj, if Mitch loses this championship, I know we're only on round number 3, and a lot can change in the series. He's leading the championship right now. If he loses this, I think that's down to the reverse grid race performances. I just don't see him being as buoyant up the field as maybe his pace says that he should be. Not finding his way through these packs fast enough, assertive enough for my liking. Who knows? I think it might not be a big enough weakness to hold him back too much. But oh yeah, that said, maybe he's listening to the cast because he's starting to turn up the
just shot past
now. That's right.
He just shot up. Just take it easy, Ali. These are gentlemen, and it just takes a few laps to warm that anger up. You know what I mean? These need to get that testosterone flaring. Just light it with a bit of petrol. Boom, and away we go.
Get their metal growl going. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Into the microphone. I hear you. Up the front of this race, we're not missing out just yet. You're not missing out on anything. Tactical is sitting in 2nd, looking up the field towards LSEM Turbo. If it was a 5-car length gap when Tactical first got 2nd position some 5 laps ago, it's maybe a 4-car length gap now. So if that distance is coming down between the leader and 2nd, it's not coming down fast enough to give Tactical any shadow of hope that he's going to make that happen in another 6 laps time. But we'll continue to monitor that, and of course,
oh my God,
back here with this battle.
Oh my God, dude, he was 3 wide. He was way off the grass there. He had nowhere to go. Literally, there was no tarmac available for him to put his Audi on. As they go 3 wide, it's Barry looking to make his work as well, with Williams Mitch looking up the inside. Cammy is trying to hold on here. Williams Roadrunner and Aerox Vane. Where did Vane come from? He was in 9th just a moment ago. He's up to 5th at the moment, and it's Williams Roadrunner behind him. These 2 guys have got a history together, and I think that Williams Roadrunner is going to have a really hard time of catching Vane, because Vane, in the open, by himself, just has got the pace. It's when it comes to race situations, he just can't deal with it. On his own, though, got the pace, absolutely.
And that's how you manage Matt after that incident in the back of the back of the final turn, has been bullied, been knocked, been bounced around. Every single car in this pack has pushed at him and left his little signature on somewhere on his quarter panel. And now Matt is back in 13th position, fighting it out with Commando. He was in something like 7th at the beginning of last lap, but now all the way back at 13th, coming by as
Tactical's
well.
battling.
Merckx in the straight.
Tactical is going for a move on the inside. He's just trying to make a slight dive on there, trying to put Turbo out of position. Turbo is getting loose. A load of unforced errors here from Turbo. He's not taking the line right. He's not in the curves right. He's not rotating right. He's just not got that Audi hooked up right. He's got 4 laps to go. Can he hold it? Has he got the gumption? Has he got the metal to hold Tactical in the Chevy Cruze off?
So Tactical's a wily old fox as well. Yeah, there's plenty of drivers I prefer to have breathing down my neck than Tactical HD1. He's got plenty of moves up his sleeve. He's looked so strong and confident this season and so hungry for race wins. It's the run down the straight which is going to be the real difference maker. How hard does LSEM Turbo have to defend in the run down towards turn 1? I've got to say, it looks like very hard to me. It looks like Tactical being forced to the outside line there for now. Turbo managing just to slow that thing down, but that lack of top end, that lack of top speed is going to hurt the RS3 and allow the Chevy Cruze of Tactical a little bit more of a chance and an opportunity to get its way up into the lead.
Yeah, great job from third place TOS Barcode as well. He's been holding off Alie. Addy's been going side by side with him in the Civic. He's managed to hold off with him, and he's made a distance here. And I think that's gonna solidify that third place. Not over just yet. 3.5 laps remaining. Turbo leads. Tactical in second, and that third place still a big question mark hangs over that third place, Alie.
Okay, they're still monitoring this battle for the lead. Turbo with just a moment, a touch on the gravel there through the second to final turn, running it a little bit wide the exit over the painted concrete and tapping the gravel. Wasn't enough to disadvantage him too badly, but it was enough just to give pause for thought, give pause. Is Tactical going to try it now? Like 14 to 16, and these two couldn't be separated by very much. And as you say, man, there's battles up and down this field, but this fight for the lead has been on the brew, it's been percolating since race start.
Yeah, unfortunately, Matt Gaiman has joined his teammate in second to last. He's in 15th right now. Not a great performance. It will be one that he'll want to forget very, very quickly. He's in 15th with Chasmo in 14th. These are two guys that started at the top of the pack. They're both down in third and second to last position. AMS Merckx can't get past Barry. Barry was another one that started at the top. Commando just didn't get the start he wanted. He's all the way down in 11th, just outside that top 10. RBR Venom seems to be hanging on with 7. Cammy, Mitch, and Roadrunner.
Super close, unbelievable throughout this race. It's been a crazy reverse grid, and maybe because defending's a little bit easier here at Mugello, we just haven't seen that buoyancy from the leaders. We haven't seen them pushing through.
I agree.
You know, Roadrunner up to 5th. We might expect a winner from amongst those top packs in the previous race in most of the other ones. Of course, Tactical, you know, nothing to be scoffed at is Tactical, and definitely a front runner in these races, but somebody who struggled in qualifying this time out, and so we're seeing him here a little bit less disadvantaged perhaps in the reverse grid. And yeah, but maybe I'm being mean by not including him in the same breath though as Commando and Vane and the rest of those top runners.
One more lap. Can Turbo hold on for his debut in his debut in Lobby A, Alie, and he could be going for his first win. Can he do what Barry couldn't do? That is the question. I really believe he can. I really hope he can. He'll do himself wonders if he can. He'll just build himself up with confidence that he can hold off one of the best in the front-wheel drive business on Forza. And he's got 4 corners to do it. 4 or 5 corners? I think I can't do math, but 5 corners.
I love to see battles like this. Turbo getting a little bit hard on the defense, taps on the quarter panel there. Tactical held back for now. Turbo, stop it on the apex, break it on the apex, please. Just give him the little bump. Turbo defensive again now into the second to last corner. Tactical looking again, and he's pinched him, touched him. Turbo keeps that lead scrapping away these two. He's having to earn this finish. Awesome as he runs to the line.
I think he deserved that, just in the way that he recovered there. He speared it through. He got the back end, got loose from attack from Tactical, and then he just pushed the accelerator right down to the floor, powered through, and he takes the win here. Great job from LSCM Turbo. We called it Alie. Fantastic job. Tactical takes second place. Another great performance from Remus Racing. Can't say the same for Commando. He just couldn't get through into that top 10, but the Williams trio made it into the top 10 round the mid area. But great job for Lightspeed Endurance Motorsport.
I've got the biggest smile on my face right now, Mersh, because that's one of those wins. That's one of those wins, you know, like VBR Hayasa back in the day. You know, it's a new
VIR.
driver, first time in Lobby R. Yeah, VIR. He's putting his punching gloves on, and he's saying, you know, he's new to it. He's going like, I wonder if I'm any good at this. I wonder if I can make this work.
Just starts windmilling and lands one.
Windmills and walks purposely towards Tactical, and it makes it work. Makes it work. Absolutely incredible. So cool to see that. So Turbo takes the win and becomes, I think, the fourth or fifth driver to even win a race here at the AOR TCC. It's been a fantastic season so far, Melish. Bloody hell. Great racing we've had at Mugello.
Yeah, something we didn't notice though is Mitch has made his second consecutive, well, actually no, it's not his second consecutive. He finished fourth, Alie. He's got a thing for reverse grids. He managed to get up to fourth. He's pushed Bain back down to sixth, allowed his teammate Roadrunner through. Seven was there in seventh as well. Venom and Commando just in and outside the top 10. They couldn't make it through, but Williams in fine form in the reverse grid. And they're going to bag a bunch of points, which is not what Aerox would have wanted. The sole attendee of Aerox, which is Vane, has put on a strong performance here today. There's going to be a few questionable moments in the races. I wonder whether the marshals will be looking at that. But Bokit and Ridge have not been here, so I'm just guessing this is their drop round, Alie. They'll be coming back strong in round 4.
I can't get over that. I don't know what happened. Last time I saw Mitch in that final race, he was in 10th, and I was going like, oh, you know what, Melish, if Mitch loses this championship, it's because he can't deal with the reverse grid and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, he comes out and does that. Finds another 6 positions in the closing, 3 laps to the race. And yeah, I mean, I'm eating humble pie, and I'm very happy to be. Absolutely no problem with reverse grid performances now. I take it all back. You were right all along, Mitch. I'll never question you again.
No, you definitely shouldn't question him again, because that was that was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that. My heart goes out though. My heart bleeds for PMC Addy, because he was the guy in 4th place for the longest time, finished in 9th. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
But he'll learn. He will definitely learn, and I guarantee you. I know he wanted that 4th place because it would have done PMC proud. I think he's a privateer for PMC, but he's made his debut in Lobby A. I expect to see him back here next week. We're obviously missing 2 drivers. 2 drivers will go from this lineup we've seen here today, but I think PMC Addy will be one that remains.
Well, Mesh, final thoughts from here at Mugello. Looking forward to next round.
Oh, mate, it's Laguna Seca. Why would I not? Who doesn't like Laguna Seca? Like, that's just stupid.
Let's go.
That's like a stupid concept.
Stupid question. Get out of my office.
Yeah, I've had enough. I've had enough.
Immediately. I've had enough. There you have it. There you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's an absolute pleasure. Once again, a huge thank you to the volunteers and staff over at AOR who put these races on. It's fantastic to see, and such fun to get to chat about. Such a privilege to get to chat about this kind of driving. If you'd like more information about the championship, head on over to apexonlineracing.com, where you can find things like the championship table and who comes where, and you can even tune in to the drivers chat a little bit. And if you like, come and take part next time out. Either way, well, I do come and take part because it's Laguna Seca, as you just heard. What's not to like about that? Either way, though, it's been an honour and a pleasure, and we'll catch you next time at the AOR TCC.